Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. The international men's rugby season is back and the All Blacks are getting us underway with a big match up here up against the Japanese. It will be played in Japan at Tokyo Stadium. And I cannot wait. I don't know what to expect from this Japanese lineup. I know they've got a lot of class players. The All Blacks have gone with a whole new look side than what we saw during the Rugby Championship. But no matter what, it's going to be a very fast-paced and entertaining fixture. I hope you guys are all doing well. Do let me know who you think will be able to get themselves the win in this contest, and we will be looking straight through at the starting lineups right now. But looking through at this Japanese side, they have got a lot of talent in that front row. Anagaki, also it is Sakate and Ku as the front row. Dearns will be slotting in at 4 with Cornelison at number 5. He is a very dangerous man, Jack Cornelison, and I do look forward to seeing what he can do. Michael Leach, a well-known name in that Japanese lineup, alongside Kazuki Himano. A few players, or a few people will know him from the Highlanders throughout Super Rugby in 2021. And then Tatafu will be slotting in at number 8. We have got quite a few people in the chat, so I will read out some of the messages right now before we get into the back line. We have got Nate here. Shane is also here. Paul, Kevin, Not Your Everyday Cultist, and EJ, I should say, and also Tian is here as well. Hope you guys are all doing well. I see quite a few people are saying about how there isn't coverage in certain countries, unfortunately, for this match. At first, they didn't even announce that it was going to be on Sky, which made me a bit nervous. But luckily, they have got it here. The Women's World Cup game that has taken place between the Black Ferns and Wales will be on Spark Sport. We will be keeping you updated on what is happening throughout that match as well. Now, looking through at the back line, I should say, it is going to be Nagare at number 9, Yamasawa at number 10, Nakamura and Riley make up the midfield with Fafita. Matsushima, you've got to keep an eye on this man. He is explosive when he gets open space. And Yamanaka slotting in at number 15. What's happening in the field right now, says Hubbard. So currently, the game has not started yet. They are currently showing Carlos Spencer on the New Zealand coverage. But on the field, I think the All Blacks were making their last preparations before making it into the changing rooms, as the game is only around 18 minutes away from kicking off, which will fly by when we do get a little bit closer. But looking through at the All Blacks starting lineup, a pretty much all new front row from what we saw throughout the Rugby Championship. De Groot, Talkiaho, and Lomax were actually the choices that they were going with just a couple months ago. Instead, for this match, will be George Bauer, Dane Coles, and Nepolo Lala, 2 of which recently returning from their own respective injuries. Looking through at the locks will be Brody Retallick and Tupavai. Now, Brody Retallick, he spent a little bit of time playing in Japan. The 2 Chiefs teammates, though, going to be linking up in the locking duo. No Sam Whitelock, no Scott Barrett for this matchup, but they will be returning to the side in the very near future. Looking at the loose forward trio will be Shannon Frizzell at number 6. Number 7, it is the skipper Sam Cane, and then Hoskins Satutu does get himself the start at number 8. So Artie Savia nowhere to be seen for this matchup. The backline, Finley Christie gets the start over Aaron Smith at number 9. Richie Moonga, you'd have to say in for number 10 for the Kiwis, going to be keeping that spot at fly half. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck starting at 12 with Braden Enor on his outside. Caleb Clark, Sever Reese, and a man who really deserves the start, Stephen Perafeta. He's only had a little bit of time out there on the field for the ABs. I think this game is going to be one that he really shows everyone how dangerous he is. I actually mentioned about it in our prediction of whether or not they were going to put him in, and I said if they don't put him in, they might as well leave him in Japan, because the side will well and truly sign him pretty much instantly if he was available, and he would be a very good player to have in the Japanese competition. Big love, people. Say Sebastian, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. We have got Carlos Spencer with the crown from Nate. The T20 game between Sri Lanka and New Zealand is at 9 p.m. too. Says Cooper Cron. So plenty of rugby coming up tonight, that is for sure. And also just sport in general. And also that was Epic, says Shane, and good afternoon, says it was Dark Scar Flame. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. And g'day, are you streaming Wallabies versus Scotland? We certainly are. And also we have got a URC fixture coming up between the Lions and the Stormers. We just haven't scheduled those ones as of yet, but we will be doing that relatively close to after this live stream. France won their quarterfinal, so they'll face either Wales or the Black Ferns. So that could be a very entertaining semi-final matchup. I really hope it doesn't overlap with the Hong Kong Sevens, but I know that it will. So we're going to have to do a little bit of juggling there. Game starting rather early, says Dark Scar Flame. Yeah, due to the Japanese time zone, it does mean that we are kind of a little bit in a different... I always consider the Japanese time zone a bit of a mix and match of both Northern and Southern Hemisphere, in terms of it's not quite Europe in terms of their time zone, but it's not quite the kind of New Zealand, Australia kind of thing. But it will be a nice night for a game of rugby by the looks of it. And Tokyo Stanley has said, hi, welcome in, mate. Hope you're going well, and go the All Blacks, says Tian. And speaking of the All Blacks, we will look through at the benches of these two sides. For Japan, it is Hino, Miller, and also it will be Takeuchi at number 18, Shimokawa at number 19, Makisi at 20, Saito, Lee, and Fanduheva is there at number 23. Some dangerous players for Japan coming off this bench. Anyone who does follow along with the top league a little bit would have heard a few of these names that I am mentioning. And New Zealand, with the fact that they've gone with so many changes, we're going to get into it a little bit later on, but I would say they certainly can't underestimate Japan. Yes, fatigue might start to set in a bit later on in the game for the Japanese, but the heart will still be pumping throughout the whole 80 minutes, and that is something New Zealand certainly need to watch out for. Off the bench, though, for themselves, they've got Samasoni Takiaho there at number 16, Ofa Tuangafasi and Tyrell Lomax as the other two props. Then Patrick Tuipulotu at number 19, Dalton Papali'i at number 20, the two Blues teammates. Tuipulotu, of course, also having some time in Japan. Aaron Smith at 21, David Avili at number 22, and the return to international level for Anton Lienert-Brown. It's been a long time since we've seen him in an All Blacks kit, and he will certainly want to have an impact late in the game. The big question is, where are we going to see Havili and Lienert-Brown both slot in for the All Blacks? Because currently, I mean, you've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Braden Eno. You would assume they'll take one of those two off. So whether or not we see maybe a David Havili slot into fullback might be something they consider doing, as I think Anton Lienert-Brown really is going to be in the centres. There's no other place that I can see that man playing out there on the park, unless, of course, they are just going with a little bit of a random shuffle in the back line rather than that structure that the All Blacks will be hoping to have late in the game. And 39-3 to France, I think, yep, they were able to get themselves the win over Italy by that scoreline. Stephen Perofeta, Whanganui Boys College, old boy, I believe, says Shane. I'm not too sure what side or what school, he went to, but I know he's a very dangerous player out there on the park. We can watch it, says Alex Boy. If you're in New Zealand, Sky Sport 1. If you're in Australia, Stan Sport. And then I believe other than that, I'm not too sure. I know that someone mentioned in South Africa they aren't actually showing it. Is it true that Finn Russell was left out of the Scottish squad? I did hear a rumour about that. I think it's something to do with, I don't know if it's to do with his contract with the top 14. It might actually be the case of he's not allowed to play outside of the window, similar to what we saw for a few of the Australian players like Quade Cooper during the last Rugby Championship, I think it was. He was told he wasn't allowed to play those last couple of games. So it might be something to do with the contract. Because we're not in the international window as of yet, that might be why he's not available. At the stage, can't wait for the game. Great to see the Kiwi lads covering the ladies' game. Legend says the Straight to Sport. So yeah, we are going to be keeping you updated on what is happening in the women's game between New Zealand and Wales as well throughout it. Do you hear that about that couple stole drill bits from Hamilton Mitre 10 and went back trying to get a refund, says Kiwi Gamer. Did they have a receipt? Surely the receipt part of that would have been the tricky part. Unless they have bought some drill bits, then stole some drill bits. I think that might be the case. Maybe. Did they steal them, then, or they buy them, then steal them, then try and get a refund so they got their drill bits? I feel like drill bits aren't exactly the biggest thing to be stealing, but maybe that's why they tried it. And don't think coverage is on, Stan. Or do they not have this game in Australia? Unless it's on KO maybe for the other option in the Australian broadcasters. But Japan versus the All Blacks, it's going to be 75,000 in attendance. Biggest crowd outside of a Rugby World Cup. They stole them, says Kiwi Gamer. So surely taking them back just gives yourself away. No wonder there's an article about them. They didn't think it through. It's the problem, if you're going to do anything illegal, which you shouldn't, ladies and gentlemen, I will just clarify, the Kiwi lads do not condone any illegal activities that you may try and do in your lives, but we're not responsible. Don't sue us. But if you're going to do something illegal, surely you got to think it through a little bit more than taking some drill bits, trying to get them back for a refund and not having the sufficient paperwork. And go our boys a run for the money, says Shane. And who misses the poop out of Damien McKenzie and Sevu Reece? Well, Sevu Reece, he's out on the wing for this matchup at number 14. Damien McKenzie, he was left out of the side, but I believe that's because they're going to have Geordie Barrett and Will Jordan relatively soon coming back. So that is why they didn't want to get McKenzie back into the environment, just in case they did want to, I guess, take him straight back out. But we will quickly look through at the odds. I know that there's certainly going to be a big bump in favour of the Kiwis. So New Zealand to win this game by 30 points seems to be around the point start that they are giving them in this contest. So relatively confident by the looks of it that the All Blacks are going to win it. Japan, $8.50 underdogs. That's actually not too bad. But we cannot underestimate Japan for this matchup. Said something about travelling not being convenient at the moment. thinks it's best if he remains in France and helps out Racing 92. Oh, okay. So, yeah, maybe there's something going on for him at the moment behind the scenes. I guess it probably takes a lot of balls in a way to be able to say, I do not want to travel with the international side. How many cards tonight do you think? I think we're going to see one yellow card and one accidental one that the player is very apologetic. And by that, I mean it's probably going to be a Japanese yellow card because there's not normally any cynical nature behind this Japanese side. They just play for the passion. You're covering the cricket after this, says Distracted Sports. I want to, but the ones that gave us the copyright strike last year are still holding channels hostage if you try and do any streaming, so can't really risk it, sadly. But it should be a good game between New Zealand and Sri Lanka. But yeah, that would be the most dangerous game as it was a Sri Lankan YouTube channel that actually gave us the copyright strike last year. And let's go to the All Blacks, says James Gaming, and have a good call, my dude. Says Distracted Sports, appreciate that a lot, mate. And Caleb Clark for the first try, says Stanley. And let's go to the All Blacks. And I wonder how many times the ABs will enter rucks from the side today and not get penalised, says Sooty. Oh, a little bit of conspiracy perhaps in that one. I hope that it is refereed fairly throughout this matchup. And like they've said, it's just the 5th time that these two sides have met in international tests, official ones anyway. And heck yeah, doing a game, says Mark Roberts. And let's hope Will Jordan gets that number 15 jersey this November, I should say, from Luke. And sorry, winners kickoff. It is in 8 minutes time. So both sides just about to make their way out onto the field. We'll have the national anthems, the haka, and then both sides will be rearing to go for the 80 minutes. But looking through, of course, this seems a little bit weird with this game taking place in October. It's a slightly earlier game for both of these sides. The All Blacks, they've got a lighter end-of-year international tour than they did have last year because they did have the 5 games. These are the games that they find themselves having in in November. Wales is one of them. That is a 4:15 a.m. kickoff on the Sunday morning. Monday, they will be playing Scotland, so that is in about 15 days' time on the 14th of November, and then they close it out with a big game up against the English. That will be on the 20th of November. So that is the way that the All Blacks are shaping up for the November internationals. Looking through at Japan, they've got themselves a couple of games. Very similar opposition to what we see for the All Blacks in some regards. They have got England in 2 weeks' time, and then they will be playing France. That's an intriguing fixture because it's happening in France. Japan on the road, it's going to be very tough, I would think, but I know that this Japanese side will certainly be up for the challenge. We have got their Will Jordan is freaking amazing. He's very good. I love your channel, bro, all the way from Tonga, says Philemoni. And I should mention we have got a Tongan live stream for the Rugby League World Cup coming up relatively soon. Oh, the ball. It's been adjusted so that he is holding it the exact same way he's supposed to. He had to have the logos facing forward for the two sides to make their way out. And lucky to win the series. Very lucky. It's been a while since New Zealand versus Japan. Yeah, it's been quite a few years. So hopefully both sides go out there and absolutely do brilliantly for the first little while. The thing is, Japan, this will be the game that they've been waiting for. To be able to say you play the All Blacks in front of 75,000 people in your home country is something that not too many countries have the opportunity of doing. So both sides are about to make their way out onto the field. It's a big occasion for the man carrying the ball. It's going to be a weird feeling walking out to 75,000 people, something that also not too many people do. Anthems and then the haka boogie time, says Nate there. And also the Women's Rugby League World Cup starts in a couple of days too. Go the Kiwi Fern, says Cooper Cronk. It certainly does. I believe it's on the Wednesday that they will be getting underway. France turned, I'm into a prick, especially for the Scottish fans. And I should also mention later on today, we're going to have a Halloween emoji coming up on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It was designed by Sebastian. It looks extremely nice as well. I will mention that will be available from the URC live stream onwards all the way to Halloween. So if you are new to the channel and you do want to help support us, we have got the channel membership. It is $5 New Zealand a month. Get access to exclusive emojis. And yeah, if you do want to help us out, that is the way to do it. I'll show you the Christmas emoji, the one that I still have up on the channel because it's almost Christmas now. There it is. It's up in the corner. I'll put that away, though. I know that people get very offended when you put Christmas lights up way too early, seeing as we are still only in October. And at which stadium is the game at? It is at Tokyo Stadium, although I think it's also known as the National Stadium, if I'm not wrong. But it's a very nice stadium. We've actually seen some games take place in the past from the Sevens. Sam Cane having a handshake with someone and another person and another person. A handshake for you too, sir. I'm not too sure who they were, but he shook their hands very respectfully. Okay, the whole team is going to be shaking the hand. I should have been listening because I'm sure these are very, very important people that are getting handshakes from the All Blacks currently. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, very happy to be there. And same with Stephen Perafeta. I can see a lucrative deal pending for Sean Stevenson abroad. Perhaps France, says Shane. And there were also rumours of him going to the NRL. Dalton Pavlidis here. Why did he do that? It's very white at the moment. And also, they play Olympic Games in that stadium. They certainly did. Anton Leonard-Brown trying to adjust his mouth guard. Handshake as well. I think Sam Cane is introducing all of the teammates. I wonder what he calls Brodie Retallick, because he's got a couple interesting nicknames. Surely he wouldn't call them his normal ones. Aaron Smith, very happy. And that's why I start with the Christmas decorations in late November. I want the easily offended to feel agony inside, says Sebastian there as well. But we are almost at the national anthems. And these going to be, I'm excited for this one. I believe it is a French referee. Oh, no. Actually, the man in the middle, that is actually the Georgian referee, isn't it? So he will be in charge of this big. So you could go trick-or-treating as comfortable man. You can wear what you want, says Kiwi Gamer. I mean, I'm certainly feeling like a comfortable man at the moment. I've got track pants on for this live stream. Normally we wear the suit, but seeing as we're outside of the international window, I decided to just go casual. For this one, what's the bro George up to this weekend? Any plans coming on this weekend? Says Nate. So we actually hung out a little bit today. And the plan at this stage is we've got a video coming out tomorrow, I believe it will be, of us playing Samoa versus France. A lot happens in that video. You're going to have to bear with us through the first half because the second half gets very intense. And it should be a pretty awesome video by the time it is finished for that one. And also we have got with Halloween coming up soon. Will you be putting on a costume on for the event? I certainly will be. We seem to end up intrigued in the Halloween swing of things every year. So we will have some sort of costume coming up for the 31st of October stream that we have got of the Rugby League World Cup. I believe it is the All Blacks. The one says Peter, hi Kiwi lads. Says hi Katia. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And it's Cody. And there's us. I hope you are doing well. And Nick is back. The Georgian ref says Sebastian morning Kiwi lads. Early here in Cape Town, some of those Māori tattoos are pretty awesomely scary. Who stands out in this game for Japan? Hamish says, Ruth, that is a great question. What we can do while the national anthems is taking place is we will actually have a look through at this Japanese lineup and show you exactly who is there. So straight away, the man who is closest to my head, Matsushima. Watch out for him throughout this matchup. He is an extremely talented individual out on the wing. He's marking up with Caleb Clark, which is going to be an awesome battle. Also, Kazuki Himeno. So pretty much anyone just on this side, to be fair, will be dangerous. But yeah, Himeno, we saw him throughout the Highlanders Super Rugby season a little while ago. He's talented. He's great in the breakdown. Seems to be able to make himself weighted a lot heavier than he is and just locks himself over the ball. Michael Leach, also a man who will not be given up throughout this matchup. And then if I had to pick one more, it would either be Yamanaka or Nakamura. One of those two is another player for Japan that I do say to watch out for. For New Zealand, I'm saying Stephen Perafeta. I know there's a chance that he may not have the best game here because there is a huge amount of pressure on that young man. But if he gets it right, you will see him everywhere. You will see him at fullback. You will see him slotting into the centres a little bit, linking up with Richie Mo'unga. Dream combination there for a lot of All Black supporters. Currently, we have got the All Blacks national anthem being sung by a Japanese choir. Sounds very good indeed. We see a few of the players who weren't selected for this game, like some McKenzie, Asafa, and more. I see that the Barretts have arrived in Japan, so that is great news for them as well. And a few of the players who are in the All Blacks 15, I believe with the players arriving back, will then find themselves going back over. Hey, that was Bryn Hall. Bryn Hall is hanging out in the crowd, of course, signing with a Japanese club this year in the top league, so he'll be pretty happy to be there, I would be thinking. But yeah, for the All Blacks, also I'm going to say Richie Mo'unga, and in the fourth pack, I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to say Sam Cane here. Unpopular opinion, but he had a pretty decent game near the end of the Rugby Championship last year. I think he's going to actually step up. I feel like he's found that second win, and he's going to be hoping to have a very big game here up against Japan. No Rugby here. And there says Shane, and also still confused on why they chose Mike Talia as a late injury replacement. If he's playing, or is he playing for Japan team right now? If so, I guess location-wise, says Ed. Yeah, it is a great question because Leicester Whainānuku going home late. I believe they just decided to fly over to Leah rather than signing someone else up who was already over there. So I guess they see the potential. Maybe they think they've got the opportunity of giving him a game and then he can't sign for any other country in the future. Could be an idea. Just look at what happened with Peter Gus Sowakula. Seems like he has been well and truly rejected from the AB's camp. But we have got the Japan national anthem now. Japan's national anthem on guitar. No chance. I cannot play any national anthem other than South Africa's. For some reason, that Georgian ref sucks, says Skipper Kronk. And there as well. Let's go, says Izzy. And also, we look at the headgear, watch the game, says Mark Roberts. And there, and blows the whistle all day long, says Skipper Kronk. Although sometimes, I thought the game that he did between the All Blacks and Ireland was actually pretty solid overall, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Or was it actually, no, sorry, New Zealand versus Argentina, I thought he was pretty solid in. Overall, that player is not very tall. I would assume he is a halfback. And if it's France versus the All Blacks in the Rugby World Cup final, pick your backline to take on the French, says Luke. I feel like they've got to go Mo'unga 10. At number 9, you probably go Aaron Smith just for his experience. Havili and Rieko Ioane, I think, is your midfield combo with Anton Leonard-Brown as your backup. Then out on the wings, Caleb Clark, Sevu Reece, and Will Jordan at the back for me. I think that's what I would go with up against the French. And Kiwi Lads guess what, says Ollie. These games can either go good or bad with the guessing, but I will say what, Ollie? Do let me know. But now the All Blacks about to do the haka in front of a sold-out crowd. Commentators just mentioning the fact that Bryn Hall was watching this game, and also now for the haka, probably do kamate. And there says, Noma, is it possible to audio sync with our feed with your commentary? I think it's called Hot Mic, Kiwi Lad, says Rian. So, soon as the match gets underway, I'll let you know exactly what time's on my clock. And hopefully with that, we will be able to get relatively synchronized for you guys who are watching. But the All Blacks now be fired up, ready to do the haka. It always sounds weird when you can't actually see it, but I am just moving my screens around a little bit so that they all fit very nicely. There we go. The crowd are cheering on the haka as well. Haka boogie time, and also now for the haka, probably do kamati. And I had a birthday party on Monday. You should have been there, says Ollie. I didn't realize my invitation was on the table. But they want to OMG so much mana still, says Mark Roberts. And there as well. So New Zealand, they have a 91% chance of being able to go on and win this matchup. And they are certainly fired up at the moment for it. And also, Kiwi Lads, I'm going to do a captain's run for the Chiefs, says Ollie in there. So that will be pretty awesome in Australia. England game postponed. Oh, see, that's a big one because both sides actually fighting for their spot in the World Cup. Whoever loses that game is going home. So the fact that they didn't get to play it just adds a little bit more tension overall. Matthew Reynolds, Bledisloe ref, is my hero, says Shane in there. But the All Blacks looking fired up for this intriguing fixture. Do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for this matchup. We aren't too far away from it getting kicked off. Oh, hang on. Okay, Dane Coles has been taken out. He's been injured during the warm-up, which means that it's going to be Samasoni Tokiaho in the lineup, and that is going to be in replace of Dane Coles off the bench. It will have the... I think they're going to go Cody Taylor off the bench. Don't even have the real score, says Ryder. Yeah, at the moment it is 0-0 in the game, and the game has not started. At this point, my nephew is 5 years, and every time the All Blacks perform the haka, he says, haka boogie time. Cute little voice, says Nate. And there as well. So, yeah, very late change. But Dane Coles, I was surprised to see him in the side after they had mentioned that he was still having a little bit of a problem with that calf. So I assume that that is also what has caused him to not be able to take part in this one. Good haka, says Ellie. And also, hello, Amish in chat. Says, I hope you are doing well, mate. It looks like it will be Japan kicking off this game at Tokyo Stadium in Tokyo. No surprises there with the name of the stadium. But do let me know your first try scorer as well, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think will be able to get themselves over the line for the first try of this fixture? I am going to go with Sevu Reece. Feel like that is a decent shout. It's starting right now, says Ryder. It certainly is. And they are about to get underway. Looks like Japan, they look fired up at this stage. It looks like they're just having a couple technical difficulties with one of the referee. At this stage, I think it's Jordan Way who's just got to get it adjusted. Tell you what, Dalton Papali's here really stands out. So Cody Taylor has been dropped completely from the autumn tour, or he's actually now back in to the starting lineup, or sorry, into the reserve. So he is going to be at number 16 for this contest. And then Dane Coles, depending on how his injury is going, maybe they do look to go with, I guess, Asafa Moore might get to keep himself in that side for a bit longer. And the Clark says Nazi Williams and 45-27 to the ABs, and ABs 30 points plus. But Japan will give it a go, at least one try in the first half. And the All Blacks, and there says XAV, and anyone know a stream for the game? Your best bet, if you are in New Zealand, is Sky Sport. Can you stream Sri Lanka versus New Zealand? Sadly, we aren't able to do any Cricket World Cup. That is due to them copyright striking us last year, which was a bit of a shame. So we don't want to get a repeat copyright strike, as then we won't be able to stream any international rugby throughout the next few months. The next few weeks, I should say. AB 60, Japan 19, and go. Says Xav in there as well. So, looks like we are just about ready to go here at Tokyo Stadium. Just a little bit of a problem with Jordan Way's microphone, but now 5 seconds away from this match getting underway. And now Japan, they are going to be kicking off this one. Yamasawa gets us underway for this entertaining fixture between New Zealand and Japan, kicking off down to the 22. Nicely taken, and a lot of pressure there straight away from Japan. They'll look for the early turnovers in the breakdown to try and put the ABs under some pressure, maybe cause a couple penalties. Michael Leach has made a nice tackle there on Shannon Frizzell, still inside of their 22. 5 back into the pocket, and Mo'unga will give it a kick downfield. Has managed to find touch, and it will now be a Japanese line out for Japan. And also the flying Fijian Severis, the T20 World Cup is totally knackered to me. So many washed out games. It's not a fair competition anymore, says Sebastian. It's a big shame, because going into this T20 World Cup, with it being in Australia, everyone was very excited, but it just hasn't really delivered, unfortunately, the way that we thought it would. It is a nice run there from Tatafu, using some big size off the back, now going off to the other side. Japan crying out a cross kick early. Finlay Christie, not the tallest man in the world, but it might be a little knock on the ground from Japan. And now New Zealand will get themselves a scrum. But looked an interesting one for Japan early on. Cornelison tried to get the ball, wasn't quite able to take a New Zealand score yet, says Geordie Barrett. Not quite. And you're about 3 seconds in front of the stand stream, says Ali there. And cricket needs roof stadiums. And Aussie will get a 1 minute 30, and nope from Ryder and Xav. Now 1 minute 20 into this game, the first scrum of the day, a lot earlier than we have seen in a few of the other matches recently. I believe we actually got a URC game that the first scrum was in the 30th minute, which is very impressive. And now Finlay Christie about to feed this ball in. Big front row getting even bigger for the ABs with Samasoni Takiaho. The late injection due to Dane Coles' injury in the warm-up is going to be available at the back for Finlay Christie. Looks away to the right-hand side, gives it off to first receiver Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Good low tackle made on him. Now Christie goes back across to Satutu, driving up 40 metres out from the line now, New Zealand. Back into the pocket. And Richie Mo'unga, it's been charged down. The All Blacks, little bit of pressure there from Japan. Frizzell able to clean it up, and now Christie will go back across to the left. Nepololala tackled nicely. Back across. Christie goes to Mo'unga. That seems to be the combination we're going to be saying a lot of throughout this match. Japan looking scary. Says Humpet there. And also shocking cricket, says Nate. Now Sam Cane, little tap on. Out to Braden Eno, who's only 2 metres infield at the moment. Still 40 metres out. New Zealand moving up to 8 phases. And Japan seem like their defence so far physically sound, not allowing the ABs to break through. And because of that, Finlay Christie is going to be rolling it back and going for the box kick. It's only going to go about 10 metres down towards the halfway line, but it's nicely taken by Japan. Good contest in the air that Caleb Clark was not quite able to get the better of. Instead, Yamasawa was the man who managed to nail it. Now, Inagaki gets his carry. Japan, their first real attack of the day, going with the grubber in behind. It's going to go into touch. Dylan Riley just not quite getting that kick where he wanted to. Dane Coles must retire now. He's finished. Says Geordie Barrett, and Roger will score first. Says Obi and eggs, bacon, Norwegian black pudding, and hash browns for Brekkie this morning, says Shane. And that's a shame that Supersport isn't showing the game. It's weird that that South Africa didn't want to secure the rights for this game, because it's a pretty big one. Everyone wanted to see what the All Blacks were going to be doing in this matchup up against the Japanese. Have they got Scotland versus Australia? Contender, do let me know, because I guess maybe because it's outside of the November window, they've just decided to ignore it type thing. Kia ora, says Richard Singh. Welcome in, mate. Richie Mo'unga once again going to be going to the boot, playing the territory game, although it's only getting them inside of their own half. It's going to be a knock-on advantage against Japan here. Braden Eno able to jump onto it. I believe it was Yamanaka who went up for it, which means there will be space in behind. Richie Mo'unga has recognised that, but it's gone straight into the hands of the Japanese winger. We'll put it back up high. Now Mo'unga, no, it's Stephen Petafeta this time. Nice step, passes off to Mo'unga. Caleb Clark in the midfield trying to break through. Another great tackle made by Japan. Christie goes off to the right-hand side. Frizzell just manages to regather. Petafeta quick hands to his Blues teammate. Satutu. Now Severis gets smashed into touch, and it's a knock-on from Satutu. Japan take the ball back now. and they're going to have an attacking opportunity. It's going to be Tatafu at number 8. This has been a quick-paced game early on, and the question is, can both of these sides keep the speed up? Now pass back across. Nagari going on the outside. Now Japan, the hands just didn't quite link up, but it's going to be cleaned back up nicely by Dylan Riley. Up to the halfway line now. Nakamura, nice carry. Going back across now to the left-hand side. Another great break. This time it will be Jiwan Gu who does make those couple extra meters. Now Japan using the backside. Kazuki Hamino, ball on the inside. Tatafu finds the offload now. Big shot from Richie Mo'unga, who's been able to rip the ball away. And Satutu gets to kick it back downfield. He's going to be the only All Black chasing by the looks of it. And he's been able to make a great tackle. Now tries to get back to his feet for the counter ruck. Tries to clean out Japan. But it is once again available for the Japanese. This ball just doesn't seem like it's going out or anything at this stage. This has been about 4 minutes of non-stop action between these two sides. I will try my best to read the chat in a very short moment. Dylan Riley, he's catching into touch. Thank you, Dylan. We appreciate that. Right. We've got synced in a few seconds manually. Please give me a clock everywhere or every time there's a stoppage. Thanks, give you lads. Says Rian Funfig. So at the moment, it is sitting 5 minutes 42 on the clock. And also, yep, I bet also have everything going for Japan, says Obi. And also we're going to, and it should be Halloween for Monday, says Brandon. You too, mate. It should be a very exciting one. I'm actually going to a Halloween party tomorrow. So some of you will know my Harry Potter attire. That is going to be making the comeback. And then, of course, on the Halloween live stream, we have actually got a different costume planned. And Hamish said that he set multiple alarms. Oh, he said that he set multiple alarms, but none of them went off. Says Sebastian. And there as well. And also we have got the headgear put on the field. Or put the field, says Mark. And also hi, says Xav. As well, right, we've got the scrum feed. Very quick start to this match. Wickus has said hi as well. Hope you are doing well, mate. And the question for me now is, with the tempo that both of these sides have decided to unleash early on in this game, who will gas out before the end of the first half? Japan, though, their fatigue normally isn't too bad in a first half of rugby. It's when it's the last 20 minutes or so that they start to slow down. But Christie is just about to feed this ball in. And Hamish and everyone says William. And there as well, Finley Christie now rolls that ball back. Be back available on the left. Going Richie Mo'unga now to RTS. Gives it off to Severies. Tries to break the line. Brilliant tackle made by Dylan Riley, who's been very prominent throughout the early stages of the match. Peter Feta jumped on. And now the counter right from Japan. Kazuki Hamino rips it away, but it was an offload that didn't need to be made. He tried to find the hands of Matsushima, but instead found Caleb Clark. Those two are going to have an intriguing battle out on that wing, that is for sure. Tatafu tries to rip it away, unable to do so. Mo'unga now goes off to Shannon Frizzell inside of their own 22. Tuolasa Sheck runs it at Michael Leach, and he's taken down. Now Christie back into the pocket once again, and Mo'unga will have to clear the lines of the All Blacks. Currently, Japan winning the territory battle. We have hardly seen the All Blacks inside of the Japanese half throughout the first 7.5 minutes. It's gone high. Mo'unga takes it nicely. Decides to go for a bit of a run, then flicks it off to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, who finds the offload up to Samasoni Takiaho. Gets the legs driving. Christie now back across to the left. Bauer, short ball to his prop and teammate Nepololala. Two new men in the starting lineup compared to the Rugby Championship for the All Blacks. So far, territory-wise, I mentioned it, Japan's 71% at the moment throughout the early stages of the contest. Finley Christie puts it high once again. Has to try and go for the box kick. Nicely taken. Out on the wing, I believe that was by Siosiasa Fafita, whose name I just butchered, unfortunately. Now back across, short ball, drop ball from Japan, though. And the counter-attack now for the All Blacks. Kicked them behind by Brady Nero, who's fallen down. But Caleb Clark is chasing hard. It will just go, oh, hang on. Okay, Yamasawa has to just kick that one dead. And I believe that that's going to be a 5-meter scrum now for New Zealand. He did not want that ball where it was. He didn't feel he could wait a little bit longer to put it down and make it a goal line dropout. So this is now going to be a big opportunity for the All Blacks, who are a true wizard, says Bob Log there. And also we have got their thanks for the stream. Don't stop talking, just keep talking, says Alex. And great, the game is not on any UK TV, but loving this, thanks, says Daniel. It seems like such a shame that so many broadcasters have decided that they don't want to show this matchup. Just because, like, it's a big game. Both of these sides get in their seasons underway for the November International. I hope this is going to be a great running game, not a kicking game. Says Roof there, and who attacking and who defending. So it is going to be a 5-meter scrum for the All Blacks here. So they will have a good opportunity to try and put this side under a bit more pressure from Japan. But yeah, it started very quick. The voice is going to be gone tomorrow. And we've still got 2 more live streams later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the URC game between the Lions and the Stormers. And then at 5:30 a.m., we are going to be doing the game between Scotland and Australia. But currently just a little bit of injury stoppage time. One of the Japanese forwards have stayed down. But this is going to be a pressure one right now. And I'll just go to Exev, please. Says Exev in there as well. But a self-promotion, we don't mind too much. Yeah, Japan, they're really going to have to make sure that their scrum holds steady. We've actually seen so far, New Zealand haven't been able to push the Japanese back at scrum time. And that is something that's absolutely huge for the confidence of Japan. Because if they can manage to still keep New Zealand out at scrum time, don't get the penalties against them, that is going to be a pretty handy one indeed. Currently, Sky has decided that it wants to freeze. So hopefully it will be back relatively soon. And we will be able to see more of the action. Seems like the worst time for them to freeze. And also so many cats, says Xav. And also, how far will New Zealand drop in the rankings if they lose to Japan? I'd say they'll go down a good few, which is the last thing that they would be wanting at this current point in time in the confidence of building towards the World Cup. You know, it's the last thing that you want is to drop a whole heap in the rankings. I'm still waiting for this coverage to come back. Seems like Sky has spat the dummy a little bit. Test 1 of the autumn tour, says Hanoi Tripper there in the chat as well. And also usually people ask for permission for self-promotion, mate, says Sebastian in there as well. We're going to have to open a new tab. This is really not good timing for Sky to say no go. I'm going to go like this. And also I can see the Japanese having their courage in top gear, going to defend like demons. Halloween time, Kiwi lads. The only reason I'm supporting Japan is because I hope Japan get their first ever win against the All Blacks and try for New Zealand. Says Xav, I wasn't able to see it because my Sky has decided it doesn't like me, which is a big shame. But New Zealand, by the sounds of it, have just been able to score. It's annoying when it does this on a live stream, definitely when we have got a lot of people watching, waiting for the coverage to come back. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully it's soon. I'm starting to sweat because I know that this is not the best time for it to disappear. Looking at the team sheet, the ABs look like a B team. How do I stream the game? I can only see the commentary. Unfortunately, there aren't too many options of being able to watch it live other than just random coverage that is being shown illegally. Sadly, we can't show anything or else we will get taken down off YouTube. But the All Blacks, they have managed to score the try. I do see here was the first try of the match, and it was Big Brodie Retallick who was able to get over the line. We're hoping to see a replay soon here once the coverage comes back. Appreciate the fact that Sky has decided that out of all the times to disappear, now is the time. I may even have to get it up on my phone on the Sky Go app. One moment, Japan behind, but playing well. Yeah, they have been doing extremely well throughout this matchup, Japan. And the thing is, they've had more territory in this matchup, and I think that is something that they'll certainly want to keep on improving on in the near future. One moment, we will go like this, and we will go like this. There we go. I'm just signing into Sky Go on my phone so that I can actually watch the game. And also, it would be good if you played the replay, says Bob Log. It would be, but they would take us straight off YouTube, unfortunately, due to licensing. Any update on the Blackburn, says Shane? Not quite. I believe their game is just about to kick off. Or is it a 7:30 kickoff? Following love you, Hamish, bring smile to our faces. Score prediction 75-20, says Ruth. And there as well, we are still waiting for my Sky to load again, unfortunately. Conversion went over. My parents have been able to watch it. Sorry, you're already watching elsewhere. It has said for me, so I don't think it's going to behave. Well, myself, it's at this stage. Standard's supposed to be showing, says Philomena. And also, all good don't see Sarah, says Annoy. And there as well. One moment, we will go like this, and we will go try again. Hopefully it comes back soon. It's decided that it doesn't want to at this stage. So I do not know where they are on the field, ladies and gentlemen. We will let you know as soon as the coverage does come back. But until then, we just have to sit here awkwardly. Now, I did go to the gym earlier on, and I didn't get the sweat up that I've got up right now. Please stream the game on Twitch. It says these are there. And are the Black Ferns the Silver Ferns? And there says Roof. Not quite. Silver Ferns are the netball side. Why not you following T20 World Cup? Pretty much because the T20 World Cup, we got taken off YouTube last time. So we aren't actually able to show any match footage or audio. Scoreboard is working, says Mac. And there it does seem to be doing the job. It's just the Sky coverage that has decided it's not going to work. It's saying that I'm using it on too many devices and it doesn't want to let me actually watch it, unfortunately. And also have a quick show says, Mark, we'll get it back relatively soon, though, I would hope. And then we will be able to watch the game once again. So we will go here. We will go here. And because if you show on Twitch, they can't ban you. Says these, I think they can still. Oh, I'm being handed a device that has got the game on it. So we've currently got the scrum happening for this one. Japan are going to be, unfortunately, defending the scrum at this stage. But now New Zealand, they've got the ball outside of the 22. And they will be looking, try and attack. Richie Mo'unga tries to go through a gap. He's going to be tackled well in the midfield by, I believe it was the number 10 there, Yamasawa. Now, he initially put Japan under pressure by kicking that ball out earlier on in the contest, but he was only a couple meters out from the line. Christie now gives it the boot downfield. Japan still winning the territory game. It's going to be taken nicely by Yamanaka, the fullback for Japan, slinging it across to the right-hand side, looking for a possible 50-22, I think was the attempt, but it's more like a 50-40 at the moment for the Japanese fly half, and New Zealand will have the line out only 40 meters out from the line. And also, your show is cool, mate, says Tony. Thank you very much. I'm very glad that I can see the game now. I was sweating profusely there for a little while. I feel like anyone who wants to go to the gym or get fit, best way to get a sweat up is to just do a live stream where 500 people are watching and then have the game cut out. That will get you in tip-top shape. I think the Richie Mo'unga now after Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, it's going to be slapped down. Caleb Clark asking for the penalty. I believe that's a little knock-on for Japan on the ground, unfortunately, and it does now mean that it will be another scrum for the Kiwis. But that was a close attempt for Fafita to get his hands on the ball. Dylan Riley has been there for a long time out there on the park in terms of making those little plays that do keep the momentum slightly in favour of Japan. Now I'm about 12 seconds behind on Stan Sport. Says Ali there, and please make like an old account where you make a Discord and send us the Twitch link on Discord, please, says Deza. Unfortunately, I do not like breaking the law. So I can't really do that, sadly, for you. Sorry. So he scored, says Obi. It was big Brody Retallick. Managed to get himself over the line. And what's up, brother? Cheers, mate. Says Max Daddy. And the chat as well. I hope you are doing well. 16 minutes into this contest, the All Blacks have got themselves a 7-0 lead currently and another scrum, about the fifth of the match, I believe. Who scored the first try? Big Brody Retallick was able to get himself over the line for the first try of the match for the ABs. Christie feeds the ball, and again, it's available at the back for Satutu, but instead he's going to leave it for his Blues teammate Christie to go off to the short side. Now Sever Reese decides to kick it downfield. Looking for those meters. It's out on the full, though. So they're going to have to go right back to where he kicked it from. He's not too happy with that one, Reese. And also we have got there, just says Obi. But the first real mistake you'd have to say off the kicking side of things for the All Blacks throughout this matchup. But now Japan, they've got themselves an attacking line out 25 meters out from the line here. And still plenty of time to work in the first half and audio only tonight. So I love your commentary, brother, says Peter Stowers. Do appreciate that a lot, mate. Now Japan on the attack. Tatafu goes off to the fly half. Fafita joins the line, hits it in the midfield. It looks like, though, that was Sever Reese straight over the ball. Gave away the penalty in the process. He was trying to get back his mistake, and now he's made another. That two in a row. Is Reese copying Fakatava's haircut? Says Annoy. Well, it's a great question. I know that quite a few of the All Blacks have gone with kind of that mullet-ish style. Rico Ioane, another player who's got it similar. And what channel on DSTV? It's actually not on DSTV, unfortunately, we have learnt. And should I take Japan plus 29? It would be a decent bet, but late in the game, we may see the All Blacks start to run away with it a bit more. So it's a risky one. And which channel is broadcasting this match? Star Plus or ESPN? I believe at this stage, the only ones that I know of that have the game are Sky Sport and maybe Sky Sport Pacific, and then a possibility of either Stan in Australia or possibly KO. But yeah, it does seem like a not very televised match, unfortunately, even though it's going to be an entertaining one. Currently, Japan looking for this kick, 28 meters straight out in front. Should be a nice, easy one for Yamasawa to get his scoring underway. Hamish Black Caps will qualify for semi-final if they beat Sri Lanka today. You thought they can reach this from this group? I think so. Sri Lanka were one of those sides that almost missed out on making it to qualifying. So they should be able to beat them, but this is the kind of game that they may end up hitting a hiccup, and that's the last thing that the Black Cats will want. But now, kick lined up. He's got it straight down the middle, and it will be 3 points to Japan and 7 to New Zealand. Japan coming back, says Tony here. They're not out of this game yet. They've had a good start to the matchup, and I think a lot better of a start than the All Blacks would have been expecting. because Japan, they've dominated the territory game, just joined. What tactics have been employed so far? A lot of kicking between the two sides. Beauden Barrett getting ready to run some drinks out onto the field. Probably one of the most expensive drinks runners in World Rugby today, Beauden Barrett. He will be back in the All Blacks lineup for the next week's game up against Wales, more than likely. Kick downfield from the number 10 once again, Yamasawa. Stephen Perafeta. Exciting to see that he's had more than 40 seconds in this game, and he's already been able to have a bit of an impact, although that's an impactful counter-ruck from the Japanese, almost able to steal it, but now it's out the back line. Hoskins Satutu tackled in the midfield by Gu. Now George Bauer does well to protect it for the All Blacks. Nepal Alala back across 45 metres out from the AB's line currently. And world's fastest water boy says, I know, yeah, be right up there for that as well. With the pace that Beauden Barrett possesses, that's a little bit of a mistake from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, picked up nicely by Leach. Gives it off to Tatafu, the 120 kg Tongan at number 8 for Japan. Now back across, little kicking behind from Yamasawa. Once again, though, the kicking game of Japan hasn't quite been working out for them when they do try those attacking kicks. Now Richie Mo'unga looking downfield, looking to find the touch line, and he does just that. 35 metres out, it will be a Japanese line out from their own line. It's a friendly match. Your score prediction for this match, I'd say New Zealand by... See, this is actually a very hard game to predict because my brain's saying New Zealand by 18, but from what I'm seeing, it's not a New Zealand by 18 game. It might be New Zealand by 8, but Japan should slow down. But that's the tricky part because they haven't yet. They don't seem like they are getting too tired, but it is going to be the line-out throw for Sakate now. To put the ball in. 20 minutes into the game, though, we are still very early. We may see signs of tiring as we get further through, but Matsushima chasing after that one, uncontested in the air. Caleb Clark able to take it nicely for himself. Now Christie going back across to the right-hand side. Richie Mo'unga now gives it off to Sam Cane. Good attacking run, but tackled by the elusive prop of the Japanese side. Nice run from Tupavai. Goes off again, Christie to the short side. Richie Mo'unga, quick hands to Brody Retallick. Now, we mentioned he played in the top league a little while ago, so he has scored in Japanese conditions before, and he's done it again at Tokyo Stadium here. Now, Richie Mo'unga puts the ball high. Chased out by Sevu Reese, although I don't think he's quite going to be able to get to it. Instead, it's taken nicely by Siofafita, who almost skips straight through, tries to get back up and go again, but Tuivasa-Sheck was on top of him. Short ball now, nice. From Japan over the ball, Tupavai wins the penalty for the All Blacks. And now they will have themselves another opportunity to either take on the 3-point. Sam Cane's looking tired. He's got hands on hips at the moment. Not what you want to see for body language-wise from your skipper, although saying that, the Japanese number 2, Sakate, also has got hands on the hip as well. Did you set up your mum and dad to go to the Blackfern game, or the Black Ferns game as the Kiwi lads' mum and dad, says Mac McIntyre? It's an idea if they make it through to the final. I feel like the hardest part would be convincing them that they should go to Eden Park for a holiday. I thought they were behind me, but it doesn't seem like they are. And it's a joke, brew. Says Ricky there, and also we can't see this game. Says Morsley there. Yeah, I know it's unavailable it's unavailable in South Africa. Another one that it's unavailable for is a lot of the UK, unfortunately, and also Go Japan Arigato. Says Richard, currently sitting 20 metres out from the line. The All Blacks have got themselves another attacking line out. Finley Christie waits for it at the back. Now slings it off to Richie Mo'unga. A little chip and chase here. Brady Orr receives it. Crusaders linking up, but he's been held up beautifully by Japan, and that will be a goal line dropout. That is the kind of defence that you love to see from a side who come in here as heavy underdogs. That was Kataro Matsushima. Why was he in the midfield? But the bigger question is, how was he able to stop Braden Ennor from getting this ball down? Can't find the game on any of the Sky Sport channels in the UK. I'm super impressed by Japan handling so far. So here's Roof there. And they have had a few handling errors overall, but I think that's just down to the pressure. But they have certainly been holding their own out there on the field. It's going to be a goal line dropout. In fact, playing the man in the ear is the penalty in favour of the All Blacks. So it will actually be a 5-metre line out now. Japan are super excellent. And there as well, says Obi. Looks like another little bit of an injury this time. It is Jiwangu, who is slightly injured. And more power. Kiwi boys to Japan seize the rights to watch. Or what says Ricky? I think it's just more because it's outside of the November International League or the international window. No one's really trying to jockey for rights for a one-off game, if that makes sense. They kind of lock in November internationals. This is what we get. So these games that are outside are kind of like only the very committed ones will pay the extra money to get these games as well. I have many questions about Braden Enoch. Says Martin there, what's happening to Sam? Do you have a late night? Says Roof. He's looking tired at the moment, Sam Kane. I did mention he's going to have a big game, though, so maybe that is why he's been running around all over the place. But it is the rolling ball now for the All Blacks, 10 metres out from the Japanese line. Looks like it's in the hands of Samasoni Takiaho at the back as they start to build the momentum. It will be Finlay Christie. The ball available. It's not really going anywhere for the All Blacks. They're going to be going back across to the left-hand side. Richie Mo'unga inside ball to Sevu Reece. Just managed to stop him there. Japan now Christie. Back to Satutu. A lot of Blues boys making their way in this lineup for the All Blacks. Another advantage that is going to be for not rolling away against Cornelison. Now going short side. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck hasn't got himself a try at international level as of yet, I don't believe. We'll be able to change that very soon. The penalty, they are going back for it. And New Zealand, once again, will have themselves another not rolling away penalty. And also we have got Obi, Nate and Cooper Gronk. And it looks like this game is not being shown in South Africa. No coverage in the UK, but Amazon Prime has a lot of the autumn internationals over here, says Little Nicky. And there as well, yeah, it seems strange in a way that not more broadcasters wanted to secure rights for this game because it's got a huge amount of hype around it. Japan getting to play the All Blacks, a rarity in international rugby, but it seems like there are a few people who want to see it, which is absolutely awesome. Why are two Southern Hemisphere teams playing each other? Says DJ. I believe Japan's a little bit of a question mark one. They're kind of half Southern, half Northern, but I guess you could call it a slight. It's not really a war. Oh, it's a bit of a warm-up game for both of these sides as they head into their games. We know that Japan are going to be playing England and France. Those are going to be tough fixtures. And then also for New Zealand, they have got themselves Wales, Scotland, and England as their upcoming game. I love any rugby or any good rugby brew, says Ricky in there. One moment, we will go at this. There we go. That was speedy. I mentioned how I started sweating earlier on when I couldn't get the game. It seems like my nose was also trying to sweat there. And did you get your Sky going? I have actually got it up on an iPad at the moment. One of my parents came in and delivered me an iPad that had the game still shown, which was absolutely hugely appreciated at this stage. A night out in Tokyo for Sam Kane, chasing after Japanese manga comics with ladies with I don't know if I can finish reading that, Sebastian, but I have in my head currently a stoppage in play for these two sides, I should mention. We are just waiting for the All Blacks to decide really what they want to do with this one. It looks like they're considering the scrum, but also a bit of a team huddle. And also we have good there. We can watch the game. Sky Sport New Zealand seems to be your best bet out of anywhere to watch it. If you are in New Zealand, that is. If you're not in New Zealand, unfortunately, there aren't too many other places that you can actually watch these games for this one. But when it's in November, we will be able to see a lot of the games on all your regular broadcasters. Okay, Barrett has the water bottle, says Tony. And also that comment says Lee Jean. And there as well. But the 5 metre scrum now for the All Blacks, similar position to what they had when they were able to eventually break through and get Brody Retallick his first one. Good evening, Hamish. What do you think of those games so far? Japan putting up a great battle so far. I think so. I think Japan are really holding their own in this contest, which is phenomenal to see how far Japanese rugby just continues to come or continues to go. And yeah, the World Cup just around the corner. Maybe getting themselves through the quarterfinals would be absolutely outstanding. But Hoskins to off the back. Now goes to Richie Mo'unga. Great rush defense on him. And they've been able to send the All Blacks back 15 meters. Michael Leach also getting in there. Just seemed to be very aggressive from Japan, and it worked beautifully. The All Blacks, though, still in attack. 15 meters out from the line. Big Brody Retallick does give it back off to Finlay Christie. Little bit of ball play on the ground. Talking about the rugby ball, of course. Samasoni Takiaho now rolls the ball back. It's going to be the penalty against Japan for not rolling away. Shannon Frizzell goes back to Mo'unga. Finds the offload to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Peter Feta, beautiful hands. And Braden Enoch will get himself the try there. It was about 4 offloads in a row. First from Mo'unga, then from Peter Feta. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck involved as well. And then the quick hands out to Braden Enoch, scores his first try of his career for the All Blacks. There's great commentary in Samoa here and no coverage. Appreciate it, says John D. And thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But it was the offload from Mo'unga, then the offload from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, another one from Peter Feta, quick hands from Satutu, and Enoch able to run it in for the second try of the match now for the All Blacks. New Zealand just scored, says Ryder. They certainly did. Hi, says Amelia. Hope you are doing very well. Oh, hang on. The TMO wants to get involved. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change over my headphones so I can hear what the TMO is saying. Here we go. What we got. Okay. They are saying that maybe it's a forward pass. No, sorry. They are checking for obstruct. No, now they are checking for a forward pass. I thought they were checking for obstruction. Okay, we might be frozen at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So I do apologize for that. If we are, hopefully we will be back relatively soon if we are frozen. Hopefully we're back soon. But I will just commentate as if we are back and hope for the best. But the TMO, they are going upstairs now. Finley Christie going back across to Shannon Frizzell. Then from there, I think they're trying to say that it was a 4-pass maybe between Richie Moonga and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Might Hello, everyone. Right, I think we're kind of back for now. We're in a weird situation. I can hardly see the chat, but I'm going to try and adjust it. Pretty much what we've had to do. My PC is still resetting itself from crashing from when Sky crashed. So we are back just for now, but it's a bit interesting the way that we've got it set up. Currently seeing 30 minutes into this game, 14 for the All Blacks, 3 for Japan. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see me, which my mum is pointing at the moment. But yeah, with a slightly different angle. You guys wouldn't have seen this kind of position in my lounge, I guess you could say. But yeah, my PC is not going to restart by the looks of it. I think it's been completely crashed when Sky went down, and it doesn't look like it wants to fire back up, but we will keep you guys informed of what is happening throughout this one. New Zealand, they got themselves the penalty. They will be kicking it downfield into touch. And I'll see whether or not, sorry that my finger goes in the way, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if we can put up the scoreboard down the bottom of the field or the bottom of the screen. Create a banner. We will go like this. We will go Japan. One moment. Japan sitting on 3. I think the All Blacks, they have just got themselves another try. It was actually Sever Reese who was able to win it or run it in. So what we will do is we'll quickly update that as well. This is one of the worst live streams in terms of technical difficulties I think we have ever had, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I think I'm going to have to buy a new PC, which I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but we will try our best to find some funds for that. There we go. Down the bottom, we got the score. It's nice work from the All Blacks. Tuivasa-Sheck, good ball off to Sever Reese. And then from there, was able to run it in for a very nice try. So yeah, I would love to be able to have the scoreboard the way that we normally have it, but I can't actually do it as of yet until my PC does work, I guess is the best way of describing it. But we're going to unplug some things, although I'm too scared to unplug too much. And this is new, says Tenny. It is. You guys are almost seeing a little bit of a behind the scenes of what happens on the other side of things. My mum keeps on walking in, which concerns me because she looks worried. I mean, we're as good as we can be with my PC no longer working now. Okay. It's good. It's died altogether. It pretty much has, yeah. I think I'm going to have to buy a new PC. That'll be costly, won't it? That's all right. And just slap the PC on the side 3 times. That's a good idea. I'll click the power button, see if it works again. And also Scotland versus Australia and Lions versus Stormers. Yeah, they're the other live streams we've got later on today that hopefully we can do. We'll see how we go. But that kick has gone over 33 minutes through this game. 21 points to 3 in favour of the All Blacks. Do appreciate all of you for sticking around as well, even though it has gone into a weird direction. It might need some funds for a PC, said Dark Scar Flame. And also we have got their mums always look worried. And you're listening to your show on my smartphone. Is your PC okay, says Tony? It currently is not, but it will hopefully be better in the future. Well, Hamish's mum let him do the cricket, says Tony, and then just set up a Just Giving page. And also what happens, says Xavier, pretty much my PC crashed from Sky not really working, unfortunately. And Kiwi ingenuity onward, bro. Yeah, a bit of a different setup. At 34 minutes through, Shannon Frizzell goes off to George Bower now, finding another offload to Moonga, currently sitting about 40 metres out from the All Blacks line. Will be Braden Eno. Nice pass on the inside, beautifully played from the AB. Sam Kane now getting involved, the skipper. And also, come on, boys, says Margaret with the donation. Thank you very much, mate. I wonder, can I... Oh! See what, we're starting to learn how to use it on the phone. Beautiful offload from Perofeta. Now on the inside, Tupavai moves himself up to now 22 metres out from the line now. Perofeta, another carry. Him and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck seem to be working extremely well together. Now Tupavai once again driving. Christie goes off to Richie Moonga. Will be Shannon Frizzell trying to spin his way out of that tackle now. Goes short ball, Friendly Christie off to Caleb Clark. A majority of this backline are from the Blues. That's a clean turnover though for Japan. And I believe it was Kazuki Himino who was able to do so. Now Matsushima tries to go through, but he's crushed by Samasoni Tokiaho. Across to the right, it seems like there is an advantage now in favour of the Japanese. Beautiful run forward from Cornelison. Playing number 5 for this game, going back across now to the right-hand side. The space starting to open up for Japan. They've got the advantage as well. Dylan Riley kicks it in behind. Great take from Perofeta initially, but then ends up putting the ball down. And now it's kicked in behind. Japan might be able to score themselves the try. Did they just get one for I think it was Yamazawa. I think Japan have just scored themselves the try, ladies and gentlemen. Beautifully played. And Finley Christie, he will be disappointed with that one as well. And there was no sparks coming out like the eSports case, hopefully. Yeah, luckily nothing blew up that I heard. But I've got to try and work out what one the PC is so that I can then reset it. But that would involve unplugging a lot of plugs. None of those three. Weird. I think the PC must be plugged into something quite small. That one's solid. Look, I hope you guys can still see. Not too bad. Okay, that was the PC because the lights have just turned off. And I was like, get a big hit again after this one. Or New Zealand will get a big hit after this one. I don't know. I feel like Japan have really done well throughout this one. Still no audio or picture here, says Psycho Dad. Yeah, unfortunately, our coverage of the game in terms of our commentary has gone a bit wonky. But we're still making it work for what we've got. Japan, they're going to be lining up this kick. Namasawa going to be lining it up. I'm very glad I knew this Japanese side relatively well for the lineup, because or else then I would be struggling big time here. Spare PC, says Tony. I do not have a spare PC, unfortunately, but there's a chance that I may need to buy a new PC in the future. Now the kick coming up. Yamasawa brings it round beautifully. And now we will change that one. Sorry about my finger, ladies and gentlemen. We're just going to change the score on the scoreboard. Going to change it to Japan. They are now on 10 points. They're not that far behind the All Blacks at this stage. 10 and 2. There we go. We go down. We save that. And we go like this. There we go. Almost half-time it is. So at half-time, I think I'll have a little bit more time to try and adjust it and make it slightly smoother. And also, this man has a solid boot. Yeah, he brings a beautiful kind of, I guess you'd call it a curve to the way that he plays the ball off the boot. We'll go like this, go like that, and like that. There we go. Right, we might almost be back on the PC by halftime, ladies and gentlemen, which would be very handy, as it feels weird we are doing it currently. We have got a donation from Simon Valentine for your new PC. Thank you very much, mate. I will quickly go here, and we will go like this. How do we put this up on the screen? There we go. Maybe? No, maybe not. Where's Simon? There's Simon. There we go. Thank you very much, Simon. Hugely appreciated, mate, for that one. But we are getting close to back, I think. I think we're moving and grooving. There might be two of myself at one point in this one. That's code. I better not say that code out loud, or else we'll have a whole heap of random people joining on the live stream. But currently New Zealand, they are going to be defending once again here up against Japan. Nice short ball to Cornel. So it's close to 4. Finds the offload as well to Kazuki Hamano. And now Japan trying to carve up the middle. Yamasawa almost making his way through, but good tackle made on him by Roger Tuivasa. Shank ball on the outside. This is not over yet for Japan. If they can score themselves a try now, they will be right in this contest, heading into the second half. We're going to go like this, and we're going to go like this. There's one like equals one RIP. And there as well. Yeah, although, as you guys know, no matter what happens, we still try our absolute best to keep the show running. And, I mean, we've done power cuts before on the channel. We've had bleeding noses. This is a great run from Dylan Riley. Beautiful offload. And Japan are going to be in again. That is sensational work by the Japanese. And that is something that New Zealand are going to have to be careful with, because Japan are now starting to get well and truly back into this game. Nagare does score it. And it is very nicely done. Right. We're all good now, I believe. Almost. We go like this, and this, and this, and this. It's so weird. I'm actually behind the scenes of my own live stream. I'm looking at myself commentating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. Now we're back to the PC, ladies. Oh, that's very loud. That's me. How do I stop me from making noise? Okay, I'm just gonna. There we go. I ended myself on the stream. It's the stream. We'll add that one. We'll go like this. We are back, ladies, and he's still talking. The phone is off. Myself is still in the chat. I think I just got rid of myself. There we go. Oh, in fact, I'll give you this one, Mumsy. There you go. This has been a weird first half of rugby, ladies and gentlemen. Really weird. But the kick has gone over. Japan at half-time find themselves 17 points to 21 down against the All Blacks, which is sensational for the Japanese. And also, the show doesn't stop, folks, at home, which is elite level organised. Yeah, man, welcome back, says Stephen. Thank you very much for having me, mate. We'll turn some things back on. We'll get the lighting back up. I'm watching it on Fridge TV, lol. And lost my fourth try, Hammy, says Golden Guest. So, Japan, they are still, once the scoreboard, there we go. That is the score at halftime. So, it's going to be a massive second half, I would think, for the Japanese. But New Zealand will come out of this first half going, we didn't play that well. And, you know, it's something that they've got to look at and go, we underestimated them a little bit as well, I would say. And also, that was solid. And also, we have got there, is that your ghost, Hamish? Says, well done, Hamish. Keep your composure, says Joe. I tried to. I was sweating profusely, though. I feel like the wearing of a jersey is not a smart move, and that's not Japan. That's World 15, says Fernandez there, and Hectic K. Yep. But now we've got half-time, and I get to kind of chill out. Anyone who's just tuning in now, we have had about the most unorthodox, hugely technical difficulty live stream we've ever had on the channel. I can imagine distracted going through what you did, Hamish, and get mad and knock all his equipment off his desk on a rage. Says Marco, on a genuine note, you've dealt with the technical difficulties proficiently. Well done, mate, says Sebastian. And there's answer 2 ain't even close to world class, mate, respectively, says Low Key. Give that man a beer, says Joe Webby in there as well. I'm just glad that we're somehow being able to get it back because we've still got 2 more live streams tonight, ladies and gentlemen, even though there are still a few little technical difficulties that need to be slightly ironed out. We've still got the match with the URC, and we've still got the match a little bit later on in the day between Scotland and also Australia. And what makes the match so crazy, says DJ, pretty much the technical difficulties on my end has made it very crazy. But I think the other side of things is how well Japan has played. We knew they were going to be tough. That is one thing for sure. But I think people were underestimating the Japanese side for this match. That's why at the start of the game I said that Japan, theoretically, All Blacks by 18, but All Blacks by 8 might be a little bit closer. For our summary of the first half, please, says Stephen. So pretty much we did see a Japanese territory game that was working very well, keeping the All Blacks inside of their half. But when the All Blacks repeatedly got penalties, that is where Japan started to struggle. And it seemed like that rolling maul of the All Blacks was able to creep forward just a little bit. And I just mute the tally and listen to your commentary with my fam, says, so thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. I mean, 37-0. ABs will win by 10 points. Go Japan. I have $25 on them. $185 return. So, yeah, a lot of people will be hoping that they see Japan get over the line. Definitely the ones who have got the odds. Eben Etzbeth has asked, you still living with your mum, Hamish? I am indeed, but not just my mum, also my dad in there as well. I feel like I wouldn't want it any other way. The fact that I get to hang out with them every day, like no matter what, like it's pretty awesome, to be fair. And terrible first half for the All Blacks. Mummy and Daddy will shout you an early Express present with the new PC. Lol, says Mac. I feel like this might be the Argentine match versus New Zealand. What's your record viewers on one stream? I believe we have reached over 2,000 before on a live stream. It was absolutely hectic. And if the AB scrape it, it's still a win for Japan, says Albert. And then keep your hands off Alatoa Eben. And also don't make us bring up Foster and his son if the score gets worse. ABs. And who scored the first try? It was Brodie Retallick, who was able to get himself the very first try of the contest. Even with technical difficulties, I'm really enjoying it, says Stephen. I think the hardest one was when it went completely blank and there was no me there. What a game. Very happy I'm live streaming this game, says Rugby Itch. I almost wasn't live streaming this game, Rugby Itch, with the technical difficulties that we encountered. But we're back now. I think it's, it's made us stronger as YouTubers, I guess. Let's put the score up, please. Currently 17 points to 21 at this point of the match. Caleb Clark is the weakest link. Says Shane that this could be Foster's best effort if they lost in Bowden and Smith to save the game, says Aiden. Although they haven't got Bowden off the bench, instead they are going to have David Harvili going to be coming off the bench for this game. And then alongside him, I believe it's going to be Anton Leonard-Brown It's just a practice-friendly AB's players not to get injured, and never underestimate the Blossoms. They've beaten some of the best in the business. Exactly right. And they're a side that you can't allow momentum with. And Rollercoaster of the Stream A says, Sebastian, I feel like it's slowly. My heart rate's gone back down now, which is good. Because if it hadn't, it would have been going just a little bit too quick for my liking, I would say. But we're better now. Technical difficulties out of the way. Let's have a good second half. And don't worry, stay not apt to face. Stand not apt to face, says Vernon. And also, we have got there. But remember, this is not AB's strongest team. A lot of youngsters, says Aiden. And it was interesting. In our Rugby All Blacks predictions earlier on in the week, me and Rugby Itch, we both went with a strong side throughout this matchup. The reason we went with a strong lineup was because we felt New Zealand could not, for one, underestimate Japan, but also needed to play some of the guys who they are expecting to play the other 3 matches of the end-of-year tour. I would have thought you'd get some minutes under their belt. Rico Ioane's one that I thought might have gotten a bit of a crack. Hardy Savia, just to get a few more minutes in there and really help them out. And the bomb's going to send all the bombs. Caleb Clark says it was there from Marco Vanabola. Hats off to Japan for enduring the first with the 3-pointer, or the 3 points to differ. Usually the AB's poured on 5 tries minimum, and not this time. Good game, Japan, says Frederick. And remember me, says Patrick. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well once again, and see you soon. Need to eat breakfast, says Tere. And how have the individuals been playing? So if I had to pick my favorite individual of that first half, I would have to say, for the All Blacks, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck wasn't too bad. Seemed to go pretty well at inside centre. If you're looking through Japan's lineup, you'd probably go the number 10, I've forgotten the second half. Yamasawa, sorry. That is his name. He's been playing very well throughout this match. Don't underestimate the Japan. I'm going to start that again. I apologize big time. Don't underestimate the Japan team. They have beaten us before. We must stay focused and go back to basics. We will win, says Louis there. And holy moly, the ABs are not able to cover the line. Japan has come a very long way. The thing is, Japan have been playing the territory game absolutely brilliantly. They've kept the All Blacks inside of their own half, and that seems to be what has really hurt New Zealand. Yamasawa getting the try, also the last-minute try for the halfback of Japan, Stephen Burrow. All Blacks dropping off 15 tackles last 15 minutes, or dropping off tackles last 15 minutes, and New Zealand has a big lead. They should win, says Ebenezer Bevan. What score now, please? It is still sitting 21 points to 17, currently half-time in this one. And I have an itch. Japan may cause an upset. I'm interested to see what the odds are sitting at now, because New Zealand came in as $8.50. Japan came in as $8.50 underdogs. New Zealand $1.03. And I'm wondering how it's going to be sitting now at halftime. Who are you going for, New Zealand or Japan? Well, I'm from New Zealand, but it's a weird one because Japan are one of those sides that you love to see win, and it may come at the cost of New Zealand, depending on if they get it. I reckon the refs is letting the All Blacks of half their tries with forward passes, even though I support them. So I take it and rate both teams' performances here, Vogel. I would give Japan a solid 9 for that first half. Compared to what people were expecting the All Blacks to be able to do to Japan and what they've done, I would say Japan a 9. New Zealand, I'd give about a 6. They had their moments throughout that game, but certainly not playing the way that they want to. Hamish sits on the fence, and also players to watch from both teams. I would still go with Matsushima in the second half. I think he's going to be one who is very handy indeed. And then also for New Zealand, still going Stephen Petafeta. He's my guy that I do enjoy watching big time. So Japan, they are still $8.50 underdogs, which is interesting with how close they are in this contest. And also loves a solid 9 as well. Says Marco Vanabola. And also we've got to see Reece seems really off right now. Yeah, he had that kick that went straight into touch. And unfortunately since then, hasn't quite been able to find his mojo. How's Dylan Riley's performance? He has been sensational, actually. Like, in terms of players who had the best first half for Japan, there's quite a few that you could list, but Dylan Riley was up there. And very big rain here on the West Coast, and these New Zealand teams played good in the first half and ran out of steam in the second, says Ebenezer And there as well, and also Carlos Spencer with Honey and Kirsty on the halftime show, says Nate. There as well, yeah, it seems like I guess they're bringing out all the stops, aren't they? For this match, one moment, we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like that. Beautiful. We've got the lineup there. There we go. And also, who scored for the All Blacks? So we have seen a try from Brodie Retallick. We have seen a try from Braden Enor. And then the other try was Sevu Reece. So they are the 3 try scorers that we've seen. Great content. Thank you for doing this. Says Ben, no worries at all, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I should mention, we do not normally experience as many technical difficulties as we did on the stream. This was the first time ever that we've had a stream completely shut down. Then we transfer to our phone, then transfer back to the PC after restarting it a couple times. But we're still here, which I think is a testament to the commitment. I guess you could say we're not giving up on the stream. Even if the power goes out, we still find a way of continuing our streams. And my man Riley gets buckets, or getting buckets, good on him, says Ed. And that last try of Japan was a good try. The other playing off AB's mistake, says Aiden. And yeah, Japan is certainly playing very well throughout this game. What happened to the stream, says Coding, pretty much we ended up with the PC crashing after my Sky Go crashed. So I think something to do with Sky not working and me having to restart or refresh so many times meant that the whole PC crashed. It went out completely. And then we went to the phone for a little bit after blank screen for a while, in which I think we went from about 800 viewers to 400 pretty much over that couple minutes. But I'm glad we're able to get it back. I told you you were a wizard, says Bob Logan. Have Tuavasa and Tatafau got to try yet? They have not, but Tuavasa Sheik hasn't been too far away. Tatafu, has been looking very dangerous. Yeah, my fault. I subscribed and broke it. Just tuned back. Scoreline Japan must be doing okay. They certainly are. Tech problems were exciting, but in the rugby at the time, says it was Tony there. And also Japan had a hard fight to the ABs. And Evan, you're the only Martian in the house, says Shane. And why aren't you playing for the Sharks game Sunday, says Ricky? That's a good question. Update on the Women's Rugby World Cup game. 7 points to New Zealand, 3 for Wales after 19 minutes. And I should mention it was Portia Woodman who got herself the first try, and Japan giving a hard fight to the All Blacks. Certainly our steering wheel change for Reynolds in the V8s. Says Kiwi Gamer, I subscribed when I saw kept his head with entertainment. Says it was there from Stephen. And didn't hear much from Takiaho. Yeah, he was quite quiet compared to what we've seen in his other games of the Rugby Championship. Takiaho certainly a player in the second half who would like to step up a bit more. But I guess tactically, because he didn't know he was going to be in the starting lineup, he maybe had a different plan for what he was going to be doing when he came out onto the field. It would have been go hard for the last 20 or so minutes when we put you out there. But then it did become, you got to try and balance yourself out for the first 60 or so. At least New Zealand is having fun in this game. It's all that matters, says Evan. Yeah, that's the spirit. Evan, spoken like a true, I guess, warrior of the rugby field. And is this a B team, though, for New Zealand? Or the Northern Hemisphere teams be laughing now, says Hanoi? I mean, the term B team's a tough one because, there's still a lot of great players in this New Zealand lineup. So I wouldn't say it's their B team. It's just maybe not their strongest lineup they could go with, I think is a better way of saying it. Because they've still got Mwonga in the starting lineup. You've got Sam Cane, who is skipper. You've also still got some very class players. Brody Retallick, he's out there. Caleb Clark, Sever Reese, Tuavasa Sheik. You've still got some very good players out there on the field. So, they just got to try and gel a bit better, I think, in the second half. Is our token ginger a good luck charm, says Bob Log there. I assume you're talking Finley Christie. I think if they take him off the field, they'll go a bit better in the second half. Sounds brutal, but I think it could be true. Maybe. And also Aaron Smith is too predictable, says Shane there. And also your opinion on Geordie. It's something that I can see happening in the future a little bit more. And even, can you leave me a brain? Or I'm building an idiot. Or lend me a brain. Sorry, I messed that up for you, Sebastian. I apologize. Apologies. I can't speak anymore. I feel like it's been a weird live stream in terms of the on-the-fly thinking that we have had to do. And now my brain's just burnt out. And also New Zealand has a gigantic lead. Well, they are really taking it to Japan, says Eben Etzebeth. And yeah, maybe. Who knows how that will go? I know that as yourself, Eben, you have felt a loss to a loss to Japan before. And it's probably not the nicest feeling. New Zealand are getting close to that at the moment. But they will not want that down. I'm going out soon for the night. Good luck with your show, says Tony. Thank you very much, mate, for being here. And yeah, we will see you later on. And also AB's forwards not getting much ball. Too much kicking the ball away off scrum push. And I think the thing is, though, that's not completely down to what the All Blacks want to do. That's because Japan are creating immense pressure around the side of the breakdown and also just forcing New Zealand back in their own territory. And I think that's why they have been struggling. I hope the wheels don't come off for this one, says Bob Log there. And will you be playing England versus Greece later on tonight, Cars, says Mike. So during that game, we are actually going to be live streaming the matchup taking place in the URC between the Lions and the Stormers, but we will be keeping you informed on what is happening in that Rugby League World Cup throughout that matchup as well. You can't get organised against Japan because they don't give you time to do it. Very weak AB's forwards. And meanwhile, our benevolent is in Antarctica. Jeez. I would not wish a loss to Japan on my worst enemy, says Eben in there. And also women's game, France 39, Italy 3. New Zealand currently sitting 12-3 up over the Welsh. And it's a real shame that they've decided to make that game overlap with this one. It just doesn't seem right to have two big matches taking place at the exact same time. And I believe next week they may even have an overlap with the Sevens that has taken place in Hong Kong. It makes it hard to grow the women's game if they're not giving them the opportunity to have their own light to shine. And I'm surprised with the scoreline difference of 4 points at halftime, says Nichelle. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Although Japan, they will know that they're still right in this contest. And Kazuki Himeno looking ready to go for the second 40 minutes. And Richie Mo'unga is just about to kick this one out. You did lose Mo's Eben, says Vernon there. But it's kicked off by Richie Mo'unga for the second half. We're going to hope for no technical difficulties in the second 40. But Fafita hits the line nicely for Japan. Now going to go back across. It is Nagare, a man who did actually get himself a try in the first half, and a beautiful try it was. Now run for by Tatafu, fire back into the pocket, and Japan are going to be looking for a clearance. Nice kick downfield. Caleb Clark considered taking quickly, but he does not. In the end, ABs will be pulling away in the second half. What happened this morning, Cooper? Are you on your mate counting sheep? Something Baba, says Nate. And also, that's not really Eben, guys. In Australia will obviously lose to Scotland again. Hamish says Eben. I think at the moment, with the side that Scotland have got, they're going to be a tough side to beat. So it's certainly a possibility. Nice throw in from Samasoni. Takiaho goes off to Christie. Now Clark, first receiver, hits it hard at the line, 40 metres out. New Zealand going off to the left. Short ball now to Shannon Frizzell. Tries to find the offload. It's loose, though, and New Zealand don't seem like they're quite gelling at this point of the match, and they've still got 39 minutes to try and sort it out for themselves. Hey, Mauso, long time. How's it going? Says Tafatola. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Yeah. Hope you are having a great afternoon. I almost said morning there. Of course, only the Northern Hemisphere and South Africa sitting in morning at the moment, and we do appreciate everyone getting up nice and early for this matchup. Peter Feta hitting the ball hard straight at the defence. I believe it was Dylan Riley who made the nice tackle. Now Bauer crashes forward. 8 phases now for the Kiwi. Sam Kane goes back to Roger Tuivasa. Shea Clark starts to go through, breaks the tackle, and that will be the try for Caleb Clark. Unfortunately for Japan, with that tackle missed, it did mean that the defender thought it was made. He was going out to make the next one, and I believe that is Sakate who missed that one. How's Michael Leach going? He's always going to put on a performance in a big matchup against New Zealand, but he's made a couple big hits. He missed a tackle there, though, unfortunately, I do see for Michael Leach. And breaking through, drifting wide there was the fullback because he felt that the tackle had been made by Sakate, but it was not quite made the way he needed it to. Let's go, Roger Tuivasa. Says Becky, not surprised that Japan is not a bad team. New Zealand clear resting a lot of players. The game will open up more in the 60th minute. Says Shane, every team that has a game plan until they get hit in the face, says Eben. And let's go, RTS. And they're good, says Nazi Williams. So that will be the try for Caleb Clark. And the kick is successful. 28 points for New Zealand and 17 for Japan. Our self-hating Kiwis going for Japan, says Martin Smith. Hi, Kiwi lads. How do? I just got up here 21-17 tighter than I think so far. And yeah, New Zealand, the second half, I believe this is when they're really going to try and pull away from Japan. But we all know how close that first half was. So even if the end score does end up saying something along the lines of 50 points to New Zealand and around 20 for Japan, we will know that they still had a very good first half. And the matchup is that Peter Leach, Michael Leach, in fact, and what our man says, Kovio, hopefully I've said that correctly. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Going to be a loose ball now, New Zealand. Doing nicely to claim it, though, with Sever Reese. Now Christie goes back across to the left-hand side. Takiaho has another carry. Nice tackle made on him by it was Inagaki. Now, Stephen Perafeta kicks it downfield. Japan going up for it. Nicely taken. And now it's in the hands of Tatafu. It's been very dangerous. Did he get up and go again? He's lost his boot in the process. Another rough pass. Going to be a loose one. Yamasawa, sorry, not able to take that one. In New Zealand have been able to get the possession back. Now Christie goes back to Richie Mo'unga once again going with the kicking game. And it was a tactic that didn't really work for New Zealand in the first half, although that ball is rolling away. It's almost a 50-22. I think Sever Reese wants that one. A misconversion, says Bob Log. And there's also we've got there, come on the Brave Blossoms. And I'm so glad this isn't the Italy versus AB's first half. How much don't you get thirsty sometimes? Definitely with the amount of sweating that I've done on this live stream from all our technical difficulties and things going wrong, but end up having a drink after the live stream. Get thirsty, boys. All Blacks on top, says Becky there. And also, we have got Let's Go the Blues on these Highlanders, Tony Brown and Jamie Joseph, says Nate. So it does seem like it is going to be a line out now for the All Blacks after a little mistake here, but they're going to be checking it just to make sure they know whose ball it is. And so I think that hit for Fifita's hands, but then it ended up hitting Severis. So it is going to be a Japanese line out, and they have got it right. Now 5 back into the pocket and kick downfield. Good clearing kick from, well, there was the fullback there, Yamanaka, who did have to take the one. Supersport isn't showing the game. WTF, I should say. It's a shame because it's going to be an exciting contest, but because it's outside of that November international window, no one seems to want to show the game other than, I guess, Sky and maybe somewhere in Australia who just scored. So Caleb Clark was able to score the last try of the match for the All Blacks to get it down the wing. But now Japan have the ball in hand. Dylan Riley goes for the kick in behind, almost able to take it, but it is a slight knock on, and New Zealand now is going to have themselves another scrum. That's the adrenaline leaving your body, that yawn, says Albert in there. And also, I know he must have kicked it, says Bob Long. And also we have good there, Caleb, says Centrist. Looks like a bit of an injury here maybe for Warner Dearns. Hopefully he is all right. I think it was when he came down. Oh, yeah, no, he wasn't put down nicely. Landed on his side. He's back up to his feet. He kind of looks like Josh Dixon, anyone who knows who that is. And what do they call New Zealand Rugby? The foster kids. And there as well, says Ebenezer Spiff. I mean, could be a play on words with the captain. Or, sorry, the coach, couldn't it? And Hamish, only 6 first-choice players in our starting 15, says Cooper Cronk. But yeah, if New Zealand do end up going bad in this game, you can't say it's anyone's fault but themselves. Even though themselves isn't actually a word. Themselves, I should say, because if you're going to underestimate Japan and go with so many changes in a game that you want to try and give everyone some minutes under their belt, get warmed up for the next game, because if they underestimate Wales next week at Principality, they could have another thing coming for them, the ABs. Now it's going to be the big scrum. Available at the back for Hoskins. Satutu, who picks it up now, gives it off to Christie. Off to Moonga. Sells a couple dummies now, puts it in behind for Stephen Petafeta. Great acceleration there. Gives it off to Severis. Ball in the inside. Petafeta, unfortunately, has put it down. And now it's going to be the scrum feed for the Japanese. And any score on the Black Ferns, says Kevin Lalo. The last time I saw it, it was 12 points to 3 in favour of the Kiwis. Well, it's actually going to be an offside penalty now in favour of New Zealand. So the women's game at the moment is 19 points to 3 in favour of New Zealand. Can you maybe try, put up the try scorers on the screen? Says Tristan, we would normally, although the technical difficulties did get us a little bit. I will write them up. One moment. So for the All Blacks, it was the first try of the match. It was Brody Retallick, whose name I think I've spelt wrong. That's all right. Retallick, who they think I'm trying to spell reptile. Not quite. Retallick, he was able to score one. Also scoring, it was Reese. He scored one, although he didn't score the second one. The second try of the match was scored by Enor, whose name I almost spelt wrong as well. And then the other try for New Zealand was scored by Clark. And there were 2 tries for Japan. One moment. This is for you, the one who asked for it. Japan scorers. We did see 2 tries scored. One was Nagare. And the other game is currently happening as well, I should mention. And then the other try. Who got the other try? Was it Yamasawa? I think it was. Yamasawa. Here we go. We'll just put that up down the bottom of the screen. So now you know who it was. And also, I told you you're okay. Oh, I told him you're okay, though, says Golden Guest. And also, he even says the man who would only attract a bloody swamp donkey. Ooh. Okay, it's getting heated now. Brody Retallick going to be looking for this ball eventually. A little bit high from Michael Leach, but Tuivasa Sheck has been able to hit the line. And sorry, I haven't been active for a while. I haven't felt the best. Says Ollie, so hopefully you are feeling better now, Reese. Gives it off to Tupova. Another offload that was unsuccessful. Now it's going to be taken nicely by Matsushima. It's back across to Fifita. 40 metres out from the Japanese line as we are sitting 48 minutes through, I believe. They are going to be going back for the initial scrum. And thank you, says Tristan. And how's our Stephen performance? I think he's gone all right. The backline hasn't quite been gelling the way that they want it to, but that can be put down to pretty much these players not playing together for so long. Booby, says Vernon there. Lovely. And also, yep, back to 100%. Says Ollie in there. 19-3 for the Black Ferns, says Cooper Cronk. And there's, B for the exact same guys a few years ago when your shirt got ripped, remember, says Ricky. And also, it was played from the AB's bench. They haven't actually made any changes yet in terms of their starting lineup. We do know, though, that Samisoni Takiaho's in the starting lineup. That was due to Dane Coles' late injury. So Cody Taylor has made his way off the reserves, I guess you could say, onto the bench for the opportunity. How's Roger Tuivasa-Sheck playing? He hasn't been too bad overall at number 12. I think him and Ioane will be a combination that they try and use throughout maybe one of the other matches. But for now, I think David Havili has got himself that number 12 jersey. Okay. Looks like it is going to be Lee making his way out onto the field now. And there are haters in New Zealand rugby with the best in the world, says Peter Stowers. And also we have got the AB's workout. Good, says Frank. Now it's going to be available for Japan. Going off short. Nice run from Fafita. Driving the legs. Breaking 3 tackles. Fafita tried to find the offload to Matsushima, but he wasn't able to take it. And instead, Brandon Enoa goes up with the offload to Satutu. Now New Zealand have got themselves the possession. Christie goes off to the right. Gives it to Nipololala. Very nice work, Christie. One more back to Richie Moonga, who once again has gone with the boot. That seems to be the preferred tactic so far from the New Zealanders. Yamanaka puts high. Now not taken clean by Finley Christie. Reese just manages to keep it in the field of play, though. But Moonga, with not a lot of space down the short side, goes for the chip and chase. Found some space, but now Yamanaka has been able to clean it up. Well controlled by Matsushima with some quick feet. Now back across to the right-hand side. Flick back on the inside to Dylan Riley. Big Brody Retallick straight over the ball. And New Zealand get themselves the penalty. And also, bro, I love tuning in and listening to your commentary on the rugby. Makes me feel like I'm home. Cheers, says Mike. And there's one. We've got plenty more coming tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have got the first matchup that has taken place in the URC. The Lions taking on the Stormers. And then after that, we will be doing Scotland versus Australia, which is kicking off at 5:30 a.m. New Zealand time. It looks like Ofa Tuangafasi won't be too far off, making his way onto the field. That is a brilliant kick downfield from Richie Moonga, though, to now put the All Blacks only about 15 metres out. Japan, the cleanest rugby team, says Ed Vogel. I'd say, like I mentioned before the match, when I was asked if there were going to be any yellow cards, I said we could see one and then also one that comes with a big apology. I think it's just because Japan, they don't play cynical rugby at all. If they give away a penalty, they just kind of go, whoops, sorry about that. We'll go back to our mark. And plenty of rugby, 8:09 a.m. here, says Ollie. And also we have got the shucks, come on, Japan, says Vinny. Now the rolling mill for the All Blacks, but it's going backwards at the moment, so they decide to use it. Now after Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Eno was right in the middle of it, and I think that's a bit of a counter-ruck from one Japanese player, but that was only just the one. Now Perafeta, another good tackle made on him, trying to get the clean out. Christie goes off to Samisoni Takiaho. Great work from the Japanese forwards making the tackles here. Now Caleb Clark with the big bump off, but Gu was able to finish the job. Christie goes back across to the left to the 2-2. 10 metres out now for New Zealand as they move up to 7 phases. Nepololala, another carry for Japan over the ball. No, doesn't get the penalty. I thought it was going to be his. Shannon Frizzell now trying to skip his way through this defensive line. Japan have not really allowed any meters, although now they've given away the advantage. That time it was for not rolling away. Japan playing under penalty advantage. New Zealand playing under penalty advantage, I should say. Well, this one, now it's going back for the penalty. Favour of the ABs. And also true, Hammy, when I saw this, when converting, I knew the stadium full of passion, says Golden Guest, and AB's best in the world except in 2022. Says Albert, and also lots of expectation on Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, but he doesn't seem to be delivering, says Alex. And I guess that can also be down to the fact that he's only been playing rugby union for about a year and a half. Yes, he used to play when he was in high school, but he's had a lot of caps for the Warriors in those last few years before the rugby union side of things. So it's going to take him a bit of time to adjust. But once he does, he could be very handy. But that's 7 penalties so far from Japan. But the All Blacks actually going for the scrum here. Like they're saying, it's a bit of a pat on the back for the Japanese because they have been able to stop them from wanting to go for that rolling maul. And I don't know what you're smoking, but There's Shane and 650 people watching, says Ollie. So yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated you guys all being here. And we have got plenty more rugby coming up in the near future. Also, the Rugby League World Cup is another one we will be covering on the Kiwi Lads channel. But now it is going to be Finlay Christie feeds the ball in. Be available now at the back for Christie to decide to go to the right-hand side. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck with the bump off. Now one more. So Tutu thought about the offload, but decided against it in the end. Probably a strategic move because he could have got himself in a bit of trouble if he had thrown it straight into the hands of the Japanese. Now Christie goes across to Retallick. The ball's bounced free. Now Severis, he's got a bit of time and space. Try and break his way through. Another good tackle made. I believe it was Sakate this time. Now the All Blacks having to go to the left-hand side. Japan's defense has been very solid at the moment. Now Christie almost able to get himself around the side of the breakdown. Tupavai. Another crack. The All Blacks are yet to use any of their bench players, and I believe that is so that they have plenty of stamina when it is later on in the match. And also, there was time. It's not changing. So currently in the game, it is 54 minutes through, and that is a brilliant turnover in the breakdown from Kazuki Himeno, sorry. Got a bit excited, said his name slightly differently, but great work from the big number 7. He played for the Highlanders ever since that moment. A lot of Kiwis have been keeping an eye on their man, straight over the ball, on it quickly, and then they just weren't able to shift him. And also, even maybe 7 Fijians. And also, Japan copying Puma's defensive style since interest. And it's working at the moment for them. Second half position, 72% in favour of New Zealand. The territory would also be in favour of the Kiwis for the second half. How many hobbits does it take to make a South Africa team? Says OB. Interesting. And New Zealand's rugby been hijacked by the PC mob. And Shane, the rugby season is getting better now. Lots of young guns are coming out of the woodworks from repeatable teams. Yeah, boys, says Mike, and also plays rugby for 20 years, says Nicholas. And also we have to see Cooper Cronk, tough games up north, and Black Ferns 26 points to 3. So yeah, I think at this stage it's almost confirmed that the Black Ferns are going to be able to make their way through to the semi-final. Hopefully there's no overlap with their next game when they do play France and Japan beat the Box. They did indeed. It was a little while ago for Japan, but they have been looking for their next big upset, and it could be coming up relatively soon. And also, thanks for the commentary. Hard to get anything from here in Azerbaijan. I think you are the first viewer we have had from Azerbaijan. So thank you very much for tuning in, Anthony. Hugely appreciated you being here, mate. 127 tackles made by Japan. That is quite a few that they have had to make throughout this half of rugby. But 54 minutes through, still 25 minutes left on the clock for the Japanese to try and make up an 11-point deficit. It's going to be thrown in by Sakate. Goes to the front to Michael Leach, uncontested there by the All Blacks. It's kicked downfield now by one of the try scorers, Nagare. Severis takes it nicely, very close to the touchline, but he's done well to not just take it, but also keep himself in the field of play. Now Satutu moving up to the halfway line now for the All Blacks. Christie goes back into the pocket for Perifeta. Looked like they were considering the kicking option there. Michael Leach on the ball. That was very close to the penalty. Now Christie will try and kick it in behind. Beautifully taken by Japan. And this is going to be a runaway try for the big number 4. Warner Dearns gets the try for Japan. And that was the mistake from Finlay Christie. He kicked it straight into the massive ball. The massive hands of the number 4. Warner Dearns scores the try about as clean as you can catch one. And now Japan back into this contest once again. No man says Golden Guest. And what? Says Bob Logg straight into him. Gets it as well off the offload or off the deflection. And Warner Dearns gets himself the try. And try time Japan, says DJ Mills. And lovely, says Ollie. That was a class bit of work from the lock. But Finlay Christie, he took too long. The kick was not on there. He had the better option of trying to fire it back to the pocket after maybe a phase or two. But he rushed it. And now he might get himself subbed off the field, unfortunately, for Finlay Christie. And also we'll get there. Finlay ain't it? Says Centrist. Yeah. I don't know about Finlay Christie at the moment. I know he does well for the Blues, but international level, I think he needs some more time. And I was saying that also, I should mention, we have been saying that before this game. So don't feel it's just because he gave away that try that we're saying it. It has been there for a while. Finley's not great, says Jordan Dance. And big ups for an upset, Japan, says DJ there. And sure, the absent hoodie. Yeah. Very good. I think it's from Helen Steins. Might have been where I got it. Squid, do you have the same hoodie? Do let me know. It also, well, I bet you're going to do that twice. How embarrassing, possibly going to lose to Japan, says the big fella. And there as well. But now, currently sitting 57 minutes through. My girlfriend's mum's ringing me. This is a tough one because, like, you should answer that, but I can't at the moment. This is danger. And also, New Zealand better watch out. Japan are closing in. Says Kevin, and he should be better in the north. Ginger's only prospect in the north, says Sebastian. And what's the score, says Albert? Currently, it is 24 points to 28 in favour of New Zealand. Answer go on, says Ollie. And also, big ask for any South Africa fan, or big fella ask any South Africa fan. They have now Peter Feta, good shot on the halfway line. Michael Leach now trying to get over the ball. And also, is it premature to start with the food poisoning memes, says Alex. Maybe a little early. And answer my guy, your girlfriend knows no way, says Martin. Yeah, I can't even believe it either, to be honest. Don't know how it happened. I don't leave my lounge. Now Tyrell Lomax charging forward once again. Christie goes off to the right-hand side. It seemed like Brodie Retallick and Michael Leach were just having a bit of a discussion there while they were down on their knees. They were kind of like, should we just stay down for a bit longer and chill out before we get back up? Now, going to be Cody Taylor. Late injection into this All Black side. Box fans bringing us bad luck, says Bob Log. And Aussie better answer, says Ollie. And nothing wrong losing to Japan. Ask South Africa and Ireland, says Citrus. And there's, does she work at KFC? Perchance she does not, Alan King. One of her friends does, though. But I feel like that doesn't count, does it? And also with that discipline, it's deserving, says Golden Guest. Nice run forward from Cody Taylor once again, sitting about 40 metres out. It's going to be the penalty to New Zealand. And mother-in-law calling, shut down the phone and go, missing my guy. I might have to quickly, I'll just quickly reply there. There we go. I have said that I'm currently streaming well. How good is Japan? Lots of money. Yeah, they've been doing extremely well. Subway says, oh, no, she doesn't work at Subway. Nothing wrong with working at Subway. We have been to Subway, though. She got one of those foot-long hot dog things. And also, when a woman wants a man, she takes him. When she doesn't, she takes him out, says Martin. Oh, you're in trouble and take your time, Irish, and speakerphone, please, says Martin. No, I couldn't do that. Cody Taylor now with the line-out throw. Hoskins who takes it nicely. Sam Kane off to Cody Taylor now. Roger Tuivasa Sheck sitting currently only about 5 metres out from the line. Looked like there was a miniature knock on the ground there. Brodie Retallick now goes a little bit closer to the line. And that's what she said, foot long, says Ollie. Now closer and closer to the line now for the Kiwis. 1 metre short. Who's going to be the man who gets over the line here for New Zealand? It's not going to be him. I think that was Shannon Frizzell, who had a crack. Christie now going off to Hoskins. So Tutu who spins through and does get himself the try there for the All Blacks. Once again, very nicely done. And also New Zealand will blame South Africa if they lose here, says Evan. There, and also those hot dogs are good, says Kiwi Gamer. I can recommend them only in a 6-inch hot dog, though. If you have a foot-long hot dog, it's just a bit too much. You know? Feel like it's too much of a good thing. You should always start the points and friendlies or friendliest. Taking the scrum over points just fires up the underdogs and pick the call up, mate. We need some positive news based on how the ABs are playing, says Angelo. It would be a weird one, a phone call on the live stream, wouldn't it? But we'll leave it till after. I'll let you guys know how it goes on the URC one. I suppose you followed the standard picking up technique, compliment her appearance, ask what sorts of things she likes, pretend to be interested in them too, but dinner and listen to it, says Sebastian. I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty decent listener. Anything she says, I'm pretty good at remembering it. So that's a good start. And Aussie Greens from Malaysia. Good job, bro. Says Izal there. I just found out Google that New Zealand is in Denmark. I wonder if they have heard of the rugby there. Says Rajeshwar. Not too sure. And what part of the country are you based? I am in the South Island in South Canterbury. So kind of about halfway up. If your girlfriend goes to Repco, always be suspicious, especially if the receipt says brake fluid. She will poison you. And also, yep, Hamish. And best reality show live stream ever. It's been, I'll be honest, this is the most eventful live stream we have ever had on the channel throughout this matchup. We have had technical difficulties that have had my PC almost blow up on itself. We have been live streaming from my phone because the PC wasn't working. We have switched back to the PC. My girlfriend's mum was calling. What else can you have on a live stream, ladies and gentlemen? That's the thing. That's why live streams, they are so unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. Next thing you know, a bird will fly into my window. And can Foster's ABs blow this now, says Tony. I'd like to think with the lead that they've got for themselves now of 11 once again, they should be able to just hang on. And Denmark has that whack young female PM who partied. I see. It also, their history will be made tonight, says Merlin. And also, I did the same thing. And when it comes to charming, the plan was faced unsuspected complications, says Sebastian. And we will win, says Johan. And there as well. Currently, New Zealand with an 11-point lead. Aloha from Hawaii, says X3. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. What is the time in Hawaii at the moment? Do let me know. Okay, Patrick Tuipulotu making his way out onto the field now for the All Blacks. That will be replacing Shannon Frizzell. Interesting. So more than likely, we will see Tupavai maybe slot his way into number 6. I think this shows how poor the All Blacks are, says Michael there. What time Oz and Scotland game? So New Zealand time, it is 5:30 a.m. that one will be taking place. So pretty late night for us here in New Zealand, but we will be covering it on the channel. Also alongside that, we are going to be doing the live stream for the matchup between the URC teams, Lions and the Stormers, a South African derby. Going to be terrific, and it is going to be live at about 2 or 3 p.m., I believe it is, 2 or 3 a.m., but we will be scheduling it. I'm in Timaru, a little bit south, Ian. We may have walked past each other one day in our lives without knowing it, but 30 minutes south, so you'll probably know what town that is. But yeah, small town. In the South Island, that's a knocked on ball from Tatafu, unfortunately. In fact, no, it was Makisi who's put that ball down. So now New Zealand will have themselves another scrum feed. And I was give your girlfriend roses, says Kevin, the chocolate or the flower? Do let me know. Or both. Maybe both might be a better option. They're currently on the halfway line. Morning, Hamish. This is a lot closer than I thought. Yeah, I think a lot of people did think that the Kiwis were going to be able to run over the top of Japan. But that's the thing. Japan just have that heart and just passion for the game that makes them so hard to beat. And even when they're down and out of a game, they will keep on going. That's it, Ian. That is where we are from. Roger Vasashik wishing he was in England for the Rugby League World Cup instead. We have to settle for this, says Sebastian. And also, nerds will win in the end. Says so, specifically in the Bible, says Martin. Also, we have got everyone, says X3, and also disappointed that we can't see the game. Yeah, it is a shame that we aren't able to show any match footage or audio due to licensing. But if we did have the rights to be able to do so, if we had like a few million to be able to buy them, we would certainly do it. Today, tomorrow, Timaru, and I'm a Kiwi from Otago in Canada on holiday at the moment. And having withdrawals from the rugby. This is so good, says Jordan there in London in the house. Cheers for the live scoring. This game is not available on the TV in the UK, says Raniera. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Sorry if I have got that slightly wrong. And your girlfriend's mum just wanted to call out. And she's with her friends. Said, watch this, says the Ox. And there as well. Although I did get a message saying that it was possibly my girlfriend ringing from her mum's phone. Maybe. No, Nazi. None of that. Welcome, Reniera. Enjoy the commentary. Says Sebastian. Both teams are evenly matched with players from Fiji, Tonga, etc., says Dian. And that was all. But that time has gone the way of the Kiwis at scrum time. Welcome, my brothers from difficult mothers, says Kipper Grog. And also, cheers, says Reniera. And also, as the match finished, it is not. Japan still have time in this game to try and fire it back. It's going to be Yamanaka with a nice big kick downfield. Oh, okay. So it is going to be New Zealand now having to go from close to halfway. It looks like there's been another change made as well here. Number 23 for Japan out there on the field. Misuse says blindsides. Yeah, what a scoreline, says Stephen. And so, yeah, it's been a brilliant game of rugby in terms of if you like a high-scoring game and a relatively even contest, this has been one you can certainly get behind. Hoskins, the Tutu now trying to break through. Now off to Richie Moonga. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in the midfield finds the offload up once again, this time to the number 23, Anton Leonard-Brown. Only recently makes his way back into the All Blacks after a long injury layoff. Tupavai crashes at the line hard. Now Moonga goes off to Sam Cane playing second receiver there, trying to get Roger Tuivasa-Sheck stop. Wide cut out pass. That was poor from Moonga. Went straight into the hands of Yamanaka, but he wasn't able to hang on to it. At what time is Samoa and France game, brother? Says Peter Stowers. I believe it's a 5 a.m. kickoff, if I'm not wrong, for the Rugby League World Cup. I'll have a quick look now while we have got a stoppage, though. And also, I used to be a ladies' man, but I got sick of dynamite blowing up in my face, says Martin. And also, did you like my comments? Please read them out, says Tian. No, I read the one about the Tonga and Fiji one. Overall, I mean, it could be slightly true. All Blacks dangerous in open space, and Bulavanaka says Rodrolangi. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And also just in this game, an AB's missing a Nono or Lamape backline player. That's what they need to be, AB. And also how much time left currently. We have got 15 minutes left on the clock. Can't watch the game here in the Netherlands. Sad to always have to watch the highlights and listen to the match instead of actually seeing it, says Geordie. Yeah, I guess with the Netherlands, with it not being a very popular sport over there, I wish there was still a way. Maybe Flow Rugby might be your option, Geordie Arts, if that is one that they do have. Possibly. And you're showing a mirror on the wall, purely coincidental. We can see the screen in the reflection, says Stephen. And there as well. And All Blacks weak performance, really. And also, where do he watch the game from? So it is Sky Sport 1 that I am watching it. Okay, so they want to just check this one, I think, with the tackle. They want to see if Kazuki Himeno, there's a shoulder to the back of the head. I believe it was Brody Retallick who came through, tried to get the clean out. So they may go back for a penalty in favour of Japan. And where can this be watched? Mainly Sky in New Zealand, I believe, is one of the only options that we've got to be able to watch this game, sadly. Or maybe somewhere in Japan they might have some sort of coverage as well. And big hello, Hamish, from a rugby fan from Tiri Nure in Dublin. I feel like I've said that really wrong, haven't I? Is it just Tiernure in Dublin? Living in Vancouver, Canada now. Great commentary, says Courtney. Thank you very much. Hugely appreciated you being here for this live stream. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty more coming up later on today in the rugby world. We've got Scotland versus Australia in international rugby. That is at 5:30 a.m. New Zealand time. And also, we are doing the URC game between the Lions and the Stormers. That will be taking place at 6:31. Or sorry, that's actually not, that's how many hours it is till that game. Estimate the score. I think New Zealand by 18 was my original prediction. This might be a red card to Brody Retallick. So it's a 3 a.m. game, Lions versus Stormers. Oh, I don't have my cards on me. That's a shame. I have cards that are yellow and red. I don't have any red. So number 4, right? This could be danger for Brody Retallick as I frantically look round for something red. Don't ask why this is here. It's just, why is it there? I have a table tennis table, but it is not anywhere to be seen at the moment. Shoulder crusher, new tackle invented by the Storm, probably, says Ali. I'm really appreciating this commentary from Jakarta, says Anthony there. And Sam Kane is an awesome player, but it won't be long till he retires. So Brody Retallick gets the red or the pink paddle. And also rugby gone soft, says Chris CO. Yeah, but that's the thing. If they end up suspending him, he could be gone for the rest of the tour now. And there's still time for Japan, says Bob Log. And South Africa versus Japan game comes to mind, says Glenn Sell there. Maybe Japan will get 14 points within 2 minutes. It's a possibility. Now that New Zealand are down to 14 men, where do I put my paddle? I guess I put it back over. Ugh, there we go. Nailed it. It's quite far away to stretch a bit. And the red says Paul and Sam Kane. I shall get caned the way he's playing, says Cintrus. But it's kick downfield from Japan. Looking for the touchline. They've done well with that kick. And what, says Gustav, and both Hamish ain't a bottle of wine, says Kevin. And there as well. Yeah, I could have just pointed to my face, to be fair. It sometimes gets a bit red on the live streams. Right, Dalton Papali'i, the newly dyed head Dalton Papali'i. Red card, what for? So pretty much they said that it was the shoulder to the back of the, or the top of the head of Kazuki Himeno. So for the law book, the way that they say it, it is red, but and Brody Retallick, we'll have to wait and see whether or not there is a suspension alongside a beautiful player from Japan down the wing, Matsushima. Got plenty of pace. Nice step on the inside, but he's hit in the spine by Anton Leonard-Brown. I've just realized that our midfield is made up of RTS and ALB. We've got 2 men who have 3 syllables or 3 kind of parts of their name. Now back across further. Nice ball, Matsushima into touch. Good tackle made by ALB. And that is going to be a line out for the ABs. Now, Matsushima, why Brody Retallick have a red card? Pretty much the shoulder to the head is what it was ruled as. Was it yellow or red? It was a red, which is why I had my paddle out. And Sam Kane should be red carded from the team He never should have been picked as captain in the first place. And yeah, it's an interesting one. I know that Whitelock was rumoured as a possibility. Savia was another one. That was a great tackle made by Anton Leonard-Brown. They both go to the same boot sponsor by the looks of it, both very yellow boots between the two. But now Cody Taylor going to be lining up this throw. Goes in, taken nicely by Tupavai, unfortunately closing the gap for Japan, so that will relieve some of the pressure from the ABs. Only 13 minutes left on the clock. They need to make sure that they get this last 13 right, because if Japan score, they're right back in this contest. And here comes Japan, and left for a while. Japan doing so well. They're not down and out. Kiwi lads, you're great. No more late nights for Sam, says Ruth. And I'm sweating on these last 9, says Bob Log there. But the All Blacks, if they can score one more try, I would say that they are probably home and hosed. But if they don't score next and Japan are the team to score, then that's somewhere that it's going to be a little bit trickier for them. And also we have got the All Blacks disintegrating fast, says Tony. Nicely taken, though, by Patrick Tuipulotu. Now Moonga goes off to Sam Cane in the midfield, but Japan have certainly been up for this 80-minute performance. I haven't seen anyone in the Japanese side tiring, really. I think the only time I've seen real fatigue was when Sam Cane, after 20 minutes, had his hands on hips and was pretty much dry heaving. Patrick Tuipulotu, nice post-contact meters. Straight on the ball, though, for Japan. He's lost his footing, though. In fact, it's going to be for not rolling away. And the penalty goes the way of the All Blacks. Once again, I predicted the All Blacks winning with 18 points on Superoo. That's actually my same score prediction, so we could be on the same track there. And they effed, says Isaac. And also we have got there, what did he do? I missed it. So pretty much, if you're talking about the Brodie Retallick one, Kazuki Himino over the ball. Then from there, Brodie Retallick's shoulder to the top of his head. So yeah, it was direct contact with force. So they went with the red card. Cool down, guys. We know how to handle pressure with 14 players. Go to the All Blacks, says Austin there. And slow demise of the All Blacks, sad to see, says Michael. And also we have got there, anyone know the girls' score? At the moment in the women's game, last time I saw it was half-time, 26 points to 3. Now it's 31 points to 3 in favour of New Zealand. In fact, they may have just scored again. Well, that might be the one. No, they've just scored to make it 31 points to 3. Line out now for New Zealand, although doesn't seem like Cody Taylor could hear the call. It took a little bit longer. Dalton Papali'i, though, doing almost enough to get that ball back for the All Blacks, but Japan have now got it, and they are going to be jumping on the ball if Japan says, I don't know whether that's the spirit for the game. The aura of the All Blacks has gone for good. Now, will you stream Sharks versus Bulls tomorrow? We certainly will be doing that game. And then we have also got a Rugby League World Cup game that slightly overlaps. We did have plans of getting someone to do some of the commentary for us for the Sharks versus Bulls game, but I believe the coverage isn't being shown where they are, so it's going to be a bit tricky. But we'll find something to be able to juggle. It's just a friendly AB's testing new guys and combos. Relax, says Interest. And when in doubt, post the Blackfern score, says Dian. And also, thanks, guys, says Obi. And also, what's the time? At the moment, it is 69 minutes through the game. Caleb Clark. Another run for Kazuki Himino trying to get the turnover. Sam Cane's hurt himself. I think he head-butted Kazuki Himino's shoulder. Still available. Japan forcing New Zealand backwards. Dalton Papali'i, nice step. Couple extra meters for the post-contact is good from that man for his first run. Tuipulotu goes back to Moonga. Pressure ball on Sam Cane, but now David Arveli's received the offload. Caleb Clark down the wing. Now backing himself. He's just tripped over. Looks like the pitch has really been torn up on that top side of the field. Lomax now trying to bump through. Still available now. Aaron Smith goes back across. David Arveli with a nice bump off of the replacement. Number 21, I believe it was Saito there. Now Anton Leonard-Brown tries to go around Matsushima. Wins the penalty for Japan. And it looks like Saito was even considering taking it quickly. And we do Stormers versus Lions as well. We certainly will. That is actually our next live stream that we are doing of the night. And then from there, we have got the Scotland versus Australia game. And Hirohito, the first 5 is amazing with his midfield bombs, says it was Martin Smith. And also we have got there, your score was pretty good with the difference of the score, or 8 or 10. No spamming Isaac, by the way, that's how you spell your name. Ooh, brutal. And the game counter would be good, says Out of Oblivion, says, yeah, currently this says 76 minutes, but it is wrong. It is actually only 70 minutes through. And also, talking about the Blackfern score here, we didn't come here if you want to watch the Blackfern, says Lenny. I mean, they're in a quarterfinal, and it's kind of New Zealand Rugby's fault for making their game overlap. So, yeah, Blackfern's at the moment doing very well. 33 points to 3. The ladies tearing it up, doing a lot better than the men at the moment in their game. And heck, yeah, that's the most says Mark. And also we have got, I still think the All Blacks for the win. And there also we have got there, what happened to the fans saying 50 plus score for the AB, says Albert. I think they realized very quickly that they were going to be very wrong. And let's go to the All Blacks. Says Nicholas is going to be thrown in, nicely taken by Japan there. It was a relatively straight throw. And there's Lenny Apasai. It was actually a player's name. I would have thought he'd be quite keen on the women's rugby. But obviously doesn't have any sentences other than that one. Now back across. And hi, says Luca. Welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Remember those days of shoelaces, says Ruth. And they're currently on the halfway line. Going off nicely, stolen by David Arvili. He was lurking and he saw the opportunity. It's going to be a clean turnover, though, for Japan. They've been able to take it back again. WF Black Ferns, all good, says Kipper Cronk there. And too many head knocks taken by New Zealand Rugby Union officials, says Tony. Now, once again, going back across to the left-hand side for Japan. This is an ideal opportunity for them to get going. They've got numbers. Matsushima was waiting for it on the outside, but he doesn't get it. Now, Dalton Papali'i almost able to get the turnover. Seru Reese coming through as well. It seems like the All Blacks are trying to make it a little bit scrappy in the breakdown, trying to get rid of some of the structure we are seeing from the Japanese side. And also we have got there, All Blacks might lose, says Luca. And if you don't want to blame anything for the overlap, or if you want to blame anything because the Women's World Cup was meant to be last year, says Kapahaka dude. That is true. Well, it's supposed to be at a different time, although I would have loved to see them rearrange it so that New Zealand for the Black Ferns played Sunday rather than Saturday at the same time as the All Blacks. And Lenny lagging, bruv. Yeah, he might be about 5 minutes behind. So we've got to wait till he catches up. And then he will then know what we responded to, unless that's just the way his brain works. That's going to be a knock-on from Japan. 10 metres out from the All Blacks line. That will be very, very painful for them as they have been fighting hard. Try and get those extra metres. And also we have there, Japan don't know fatigue, says Golden Guest, and AB's falling off the tackles like crazy now. It seems like Japan is really pushing the All Blacks at the moment, which is great to say. And it's that's the thing, it's expected. We knew Japan, this is the game that they have been waiting for so long, and they finally have it. They weren't going to blow this opportunity. And if the game was to end at this scoreline, you'd have to say Japan have well and truly done themselves proud, done their nation proud, and they've still got time to somehow maybe clinch themselves a victory. Number of spectators, 65,188 in attendance for this matchup. And come on, Japan and Roof, not a surprise, two bad teams. And also, how are we going to go against England? RIP, says Jordan. Yeah, at the moment, New Zealand, of course, a few games away, a little bit more time to get that rust out of the way, but it's going to be a good game. And also, Brendan is not happy with how well Japan has been going. Although with a last name like Swanepoel, I assume that is still a little bit of PTSD from when Japan beat South Africa. And at least a 40-something is satisfied. But the way it looks now, come on, the All Blacks. Says Austin, come on, Japan. Man, they're getting excited to finish off the game, losing the possessions. Says Vinny there. I've never seen score this close in history between these sides, says Ali. Yeah, Japan have been brilliant throughout this matchup. Yes, they've had their handling errors, and yes, they have had a few penalties against them, but they've still been able to push the ABs for a majority of this match. This must be an All Blacks B team, I suppose. I wouldn't call it the B team. I would say that everyone who is out there on the field should be able to play at the highest level, or else what is the point of having them in that All Blacks side? You know, you got to make sure, no matter your combination, you're always putting out a side that is big and that you feel can win a game. Caleb Clark on the side of the scrum here. And also PTSD versus South Africa, says Ian Gray. And also the All Blacks, says Ricky, they're fairly balanced matchup. Well, Japan, says Sim Slayer's gone down in the front row. And we will now have another scrum reset. Black Ferns 40, Wales 3. And boys can learn a thing or two from the girls, says it was Philomena and B+ team, says Justin. And there, and why has Brady been handed a red card? Pretty much it was for Kazuki Himino. He was over the ball, got the shoulder to the top of the head. So the way that they ruled it with him coming in from distance with force, they decided there was a red rather than the yellow, and 40 converted. There's Philomena there. And also, come on, Japan, says Gareth. And Japan is doing good. I know they are not playing South Africa from Namibia, says Mohammed there. And ABs are so worried for what? Japan has improved. But also, we are missing tons of our best players, says Skrull. Now, a big push from the All Blacks. They get themselves the penalty from inside of their 22, so that will certainly help them. How much time left? Only 6 minutes now left on the clock. Metallic is normally dirty, says Chrissy there. And also, yes, Razor is the coach, that's why. And also, AB Tucker's lost its mojo, says Centrist. This will be a bit of a breather for both of these sides. This game has been played at a high tempo throughout, and I think that's something that both sides really need to be, I guess, praised for, with the fact that they've been able to play at this pace. Sakate's out there. He's absolutely buggered, but he's still going to keep on playing for the final 5 minutes. Japan know they are 1 try away from getting within 7. Are going to do the Barbars games? I'm hoping to do some of them, although I do see that some of the Barbar games do actually overlap. So I am possibly either going to have to find myself a duplication machine or another person to do some commentary for me while I am doing one of the other games. Just something we are trying to look at as well for the future. Aaron Smith with the nice rolling maul going forward, just yelling at his forwards to keep on pushing. AB spend more time on the haka than on defense, says Eben, and need ABs to score another 17 points, says James Pearson there, now driving forward nicely, almost up to the halfway line. As Blackfern's score currently, it is sitting at 40 points to 3. And also, 2 Cents made an alarming stat, nearly 5 times more likely to get a yellow card in the Rugby Championship than the Six Nations discipline. Needs a lot of work in the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah, that is huge. And the fact, Mo'unga's ankle almost got cleaned out by one of the big Japanese forwards. Thanks for the commentary, bro. Much appreciated, says Bob Log. And there as well. And yeah, we are going to be back with plenty more. Sever Reese knocks it on, kept in the field of play. And now it's going to be advantage over, I would think. Richie Mo'unga has to clean up. Brilliant low tackle made. Jumps on him again. Penalty to Japan for trying to take it a second time. Richie Mo'unga won't give up the ball. Saito considered taking the quick tap. But now I believe they will be kicking this one for the touchline. What a game from Japan. And it is getting just a little bit better now. Not releasing ball penalty against the Japanese. I believe that was Gerhard Finderhever, who did beautifully. A very Japanese name for that man. I know that a lot of South Africans will try and claim him after the way that he has done beautifully there. Well done, Japan. Should be proud. And also see here, a lot of Box supporters have got that the Box lost to Japan, says Mornay there. And also we have got as well, one more. We'll go like this. There we go. And also we didn't forget, like the All Black supporters, says Dean. And there, and how's Big Paddy playing? Patrick Tuipulotu, he hasn't been too bad. I'm looking forward to seeing him back in the Australia, or back in the New Zealand A side, I should say. And now the clapping from the Japanese crowd, all 65,000 in attendance, hoping to see something big here off the back. Nice work. Makisi, 10 meters out, round the side. Kazuki Himino. Now one more for Japan, reaching out just short of the line. I got too excited there. I thought he was over, but it's inches from the line now for Japan. They've got 3 minutes left on the clock. There is still time to win this, but they need to try now. That was really poor from Sam Cane. And that's an easy try for Japan. Round the side of the breakdown, Kazuki Himino gets another one. And the Japanese crowd erupt. What was Sam Cane doing? He just stood there, watched him go over the line and went, that was mine. I was supposed to tackle him. Sorry, boys, my bad. And boys, says Golden Guest. There is still 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. 40 is coming up. Play 80-minute rugby. Come on, the All Blacks, says Austin. And now they're going to have to play maybe the 2 most important minutes of their All Blacks season this year. And these guys, it was never going to be a blowout, says Justin there. And Japan will be great at the championship. And I like how Japan are innocently caught in the middle of this All Blacks Springboks conflict, says Sebastian. But look at this. Oh, you can't look at this, sorry, because of copyright, isn't it? But they watched Kazuki Himino, who just goes round the side. So Anton Leonard-Brown runs away because he was told to get wide. I think he was told to get wide by Sam Cane, and that just left a gap the size of a nation, really, around the side of the breakdown. And also Black Ferns sucks, says Lenny. Lenny does not like women by the sounds of it, but they're going very well. They're winning 40 points to 3. I guess jealousy is an ugly trait, isn't it, Lenny? And also we've got there now All Blacks all the way, my bro, says, hang on. Okay, they want to clear something. There might be foul play involved here. And what's the score? At the moment, it is not updating, but it is, there we go, 31 points to 35, closing the gap between New Zealand and Japan. Kazuki Himino is so good. And it was so good for the Highlanders. He certainly was. I really rate Jamie Joseph. He's better than Razor, says William Albert. Sam Cane must be dropped, says Peter Stowers. Yeah, that was very poor from Sam Cane. You can't call a player who's right next to the breakdown. Wait, so now they want to check this one to see if the ball's been dropped. Surely you check this one for a TMO before you allow the man to take the kick? Just saying. You know, if you want to check it after, it's more of his own fault because what they're going to do, they're going to take it away from him now, are they? Because his hand's almost off the ball there for Kazuki Himeno. And there has to be clear separation, says the Georgian referee. This is going to be really poor if they rule this out, because they should have done it before they let the conversion take place, before they got to halfway. And yes, there's arguments that could say that ball is not in the hands of Kazuki Himeno. But for me, that's a TMO error, and the try should still stand. Try stands. Okay. So the try is going to stand. If you're going to go back and nitpick it after you've already given the try, you got to make sure that you're getting it right earlier. And the Kiwi lads, remember me, I used to be Nathan. And there as well, says the Frozen Guy. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. It's not fully separated. And also we have got there the All Black supporters convinced they will win next year the World Cup. First game, France. Says Tian. Now it's going to be the kickoff. 1 minute 30 left. WF, they're going back after kick taken. That was stupid. It was. Like, if you're going to check it before you let them kick it and before the teams are back at halfway. A new rule. Can check after, says Jonathan. And there as well. The New Zealand is just scoring another try for the Black Ferns, I should mention. But Japan, they are looking to get themselves another Kazuki Himeno with another nice carry. Japan sitting about 22 meters out from their own line. They've got a long way to go, but a minute to try and do it. Saito now goes off to the right-hand side. Kazuki Himeno gives it off to Dylan Riley. Could this be the first time in history that we see the Japanese get themselves the victory over the Kiwis? Dalton Papali has done well to shut it down. Japan need a line break soon, and it looks like this could be their opportunity. Nice quick hands. Matsushima tries to break through David Arveli's tackle, but he's taken down now by Tui Palotu. Now back across to the right-hand side. One more. Oh, it's gone back loose for Japan. They've said that there was a siren at the ground. That's a big shot from Anton Leonard-Brown, who's still trying to put in those hits. Caleb Clark makes the tackle. It's an advantage now to Japan. I believe that is for a knock-on. So there's 20 seconds left on the clock. The All Blacks, they'll make a couple tackles, and then they will try and get this one straight back from the Japanese side. Now running hard at the line. Consider the offload. Still managed to offload it back, though. Japan, they have to travel 90 meters up the park, and that is going to be now close to the full-time siren. Saito goes off to the left-hand side. The advantage is now over. The All Blacks just need to get this ball back and kick it into touch. Now, Japan with the wide break. Down to Matsushima, down the wing. He's picked up by David Arveli. Finds the offload to Saito. Japan don't want this game to end. They'll play to 90 if it means they get themselves their first ever win over the All Blacks. But Papali'i gets over the ball. The All Blacks win the penalty. And that will more than likely be the end of the game. If the All Blacks are wise, they will take the tap, and kick this one straight into touch. And also, we're not that surprising looking at out All Blacks B team, says Beno. And also, we have got there, you don't have the beautiful Cape Town Stadium behind you anymore, mate. Anyways, let's go, Japan, says Wayne there. Right. I believe the All Blacks, they're going to take the 3 points here. You really hope this doesn't hit the post for Richie Mo'unga. What channels play the All Blacks? What channels or what teams? Because the teams that are playing the All Blacks, there are a few of them coming up. The first of which is going to be Wales. And the All Blacks are going to have to play a lot better than they did in this game, that is for sure. But they will be playing Wales at 4:15 a.m. New Zealand time. Scotland at 3:15 a.m. New Zealand time the week after on the Monday. And then on Sunday, the 20th of November, they will find themselves head-to-head with the English. So that's going to be exciting for Japan, though. They still have a couple more games of the November internationals. They have next week off while they are traveling to England, and then they will be playing England and then France the week after. But Richie Mo'unga lines up the kick. It has gone over, and that will be full-time in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. New Zealand will win it narrowly, 38 points to 31. Kane will do it again. The ABSB minus side says Justin in there, and superb game, Hamish. Excellent job. Overcame the technical difficulties and the pressure of a close game. Cheers, my guys, says Sebastian. And there as well. And like I mentioned, we have still got plenty more coming up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be covering the URC fixture between the Lions and the Stormers. And then also alongside that, we have got the matchup taking place between Australia and Scotland. Another international fixture coming up. And that will be at 5 a.m. New Zealand time. That one takes place. We fresh them, says Justin. This one is a close game. I don't like them, says Brendan. He doesn't like Japan, he's telling us. And rubbish, says Michael. And Japan are immense at home. They certainly are. They came out there and they put on an absolute show for the 65,000 in attendance. New Zealand, they'll feel like they had a lot that they could have given out on the field. Japan, I don't know how much more they could have done in this game. They had a near perfect performance other than a couple handling errors and the penalties against them, but that was always going to be in there with the pressure from the All Blacks. But this was almost one of the greatest games that we've seen Japan play. In fact, I would argue, hear me out, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best game we have seen Japan play that they haven't won. Weird statement, I know. Doesn't really make sense. Of course, you'd have to say their game up against South Africa when they won, one of their best performances. But this, for me, was the best performance from Japan where they didn't actually get themselves the victory. They just looked like they had the All Blacks numbers at time. The territory game in the first half was brilliantly done from Japan. The ball retention, I think the defense was very solid. So, yeah, that's going to be my statement for this one. It's probably going to get shut down very quickly. But, yeah, the best game that we've seen them play that they didn't win. And thank you, Amish, for the good commentary. Says, Peter, no worries at all. Ian Foster has done a good job diminishing the All Blacks aura, says IT. And also, we were there. Respects Japan and well done, the AB, says Aiden. A great call. Thanks, Amish, says Justin. No worries at all, mate. Thank you very much for being here for this live stream. Congratulations, Japan. They deserve to play in our rugby championship matches. Exactly right. If anything, this just shows that Japan, and I don't know, if you're going to add another team, maybe they look at a Fiji or a Samoa, but the rugby championship could be expanding in the near future. I just had someone walk past my place and yell, "Hey, it's Macaulay Culkin in your backyard." He is not in your backyard, is he? In my backyard? I mean, if he was, it would be a bit weird. Mainly because I'm not home alone. But, sorry, that was a poor one from myself. That's almost a slap on the hand material. And also Japan Wallabies last year is a good shout, says Sebastian. Yeah, they played very well in that game up against the Wallabies as well. And there was a red too. There was. And that's why he tried to hide the BF's game or the Black Ferns game. Says Caesar for life and Joseph Common cementing coach reputation too. And when is the next AB's game? I will put it up on the screen for you. So the next All Blacks game, it is going to be 4:15 a.m. next Sunday. We will be covering that game on the channel. I should also mention we've got a Halloween live stream coming up relatively soon, in which we will have our Halloween emojis that are available from the URC match tonight onwards. And also alongside that, we will be dressed up in a random Halloween costume that I will find for myself. For the one, can Japan do this up north? It's a good question. They've got two very tough games, though. I would have loved to see someone like a Japan-Scotland or a Japan-Wales just to see how they are matching up with those sides, but they have to play England and France, which is certainly going to be tough. Japan have the best fans and incredibly respectful to both teams, says DMAC. Exactly right. Great coaching from Joseph. And will there be live chat? Or will be there live? Cannot wait, says Tom. And thanks, Jamp, from Cape Town. And well done, the All Blacks, says it was Whaonga. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And Kiwis won. The Black Ferns will win. All Blacks won. Go the Black Cats. Yeah, the last Kiwi side need to try and get themselves a victory. Yeah, Jamie handling well. And have a good evening in Waimati, says Ian Gray there. Yeah, there's not much to do in Waimati, is there? Other than go somewhere else. But, yeah, I'll try and have a good evening. Overall, it looks like it's actually a nice enough evening. Outside, a little bit of rain. Still 15 degrees. So I feel like my attire may have to change by the last live stream, or else I will be completely, I guess, drained from being too hot. And well, close game, says Anoy. It certainly wasn't Sam Kane costume, says Bob Log. And they're a great game. Congrats, the AB, says Rugby Itch, and they're a winner's a win, says Cooper Cron. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning into the live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are back for the URC a little bit later on tonight. Probably good timing that the game is finished now because the iPad has almost just died. So that's not ideal. And did Roger Tuivasa-Sheck do okay? I felt he was all right in the midfield. I think him and Ioane will be a more dangerous combination than him and Braden Ennor. I feel like it wouldn't really work out for Ennor and Roger Tuivasa-Sheck as the normal combination. There's the ends of the stream, says James Gaming, and thanks, Emmy. And also those commentators were so awful towards the ABs. Love watching the ABs shutting them up, says Aiden. And there's Owen What Again says it was a Japan Rugby and also just the Black Caps now. And why was Brady red carded? It was pretty much Himino was over the ball, and then from there did end up with a shoulder to the head, which then caused direct contact, and it was with force, so they decided it was a red card. It will be interesting to see if he gets himself a red card and a suspension, or whether they will go for something shorter, because if Brodie Retallick gets a suspension, he'll be out for the rest of the competitions. And then from there, you've got Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock probably edging themselves back in. I wonder what All Blacks Lift, if they Bell. Wonder what would All Blacks be left with? Sorry, I just worked it out. If they can't perform haka anymore, says Dan. Probably just a national anthem and then the game. And are you live streaming Samoa's upcoming games? Says Othlaches. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but their rugby union games, if they're being shown in New Zealand, we certainly are doing their games. I believe they've got a game up against Italy. It's actually one of their first fixtures. But yeah, we will have some sort of coverage of that on the channel as well. Even if it's not Samoa's game, if there's another game going on at the same time that we're covering, we will keep you updated with what's happening play by play almost for Samoa's as well. So no matter what, when Samoa are playing, you will know exactly what is happening throughout those matches. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in, and your girl waiting on her to you to call her. Yeah, that will be the first task after the live stream. Yeah. Wish me luck. Nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. And I will see you all for the URC in about 6 hours' time. But I will see you all for the next one.